My beloved child, come close and listen to my voice, for I have something important to place gently upon your heart. Do not let fear rise within you as you hear these words. Instead, let your spirit become still, because what I am about to tell you is wrapped in my love, guided by my wisdom, and covered by my protection. Someone may soon come into your life. Their arrival may seem ordinary at first, perhaps through an unexpected conversation, a familiar place, or a moment that appears no different from any other. Yet I want you to understand that not every meeting is as simple as it seems. Some encounters carry blessings that I have prepared long before you ever noticed them, while others are lessons that require discernment before they can shape your future. You have prayed for change. You have asked me for direction, companionship, healing, and answers. I have heard every whispered prayer, every silent tear, and every hope you have carried deep within your heart. Because I know your desires, I also know the moments when your heart is most vulnerable. That is why I speak to you now, not to make you suspicious of everyone you meet, but to awaken the wisdom I have been growing inside you. Do not believe that every smiling face carries peaceful intentions, and do not assume that every difficult beginning hides disaster. Appearances alone cannot reveal what only time and my guidance can uncover. This is why I ask you to walk beside me with patient eyes and a listening heart. I see what you cannot yet see. I know every road before your feet touch it. I know every word before it is spoken and every motive before it is acted upon. There will be moments when excitement will urge you to rush ahead, and there will be moments when fear will tempt you to step backward. I'm calling you to do neither. Stay close to me. Let my peace become your compass instead of your emotions. When you allow my presence to guide your decisions, confusion begins to lose its power and clarity quietly takes its place. Think of a shepherd leading his sheep through fields they have never crossed before. The sheep do not know where hidden dangers lie or where fresh water waits, but the shepherd does. They remain safe not because they understand every path, but because they trust the one leading them. In the same way, my beloved child, I am leading you through a season where wisdom will matter more than haste, and discernment will protect what I have placed within you. So open your heart, but do not surrender your wisdom. Welcome kindness, but do not silence the gentle voice I place within your spirit. Someone may indeed come into your life, and whether that person becomes a blessing, a lesson, or a doorway to something greater, I will not leave you to face the journey alone. Keep your eyes upon me, and you will discover that my guidance has always been preparing you for this very moment. My beloved child, there are moments when you look ahead and wonder why the path before you seems hidden. You ask me to reveal tomorrow, yet I often choose to strengthen your trust instead of satisfying your curiosity. This is not because I wish to keep good things from you. It is because I know that if you could see every detail before its appointed time, your heart would become distracted by things that were never meant to carry your attention. I see the beginning and the end at once. I see every step connecting them, and nothing escapes my loving gaze. Before you wake each morning, I already know every conversation that will unfold. I know the faces you will recognize and the strangers whose paths may briefly cross yours. I know the opportunities that will appear inviting, the words that will encourage you, and even the disappointments that may try to shake your confidence. None of these things surprise me. I have already walked before you, preparing places where my grace will meet you exactly when you need it. You often measure life by what your eyes can see, but I invite you to look beyond what is visible. There are movements taking place that you cannot detect with human understanding. Hearts are changing. Doors are quietly opening. Circumstances are shifting in ways that seem invisible today but will become clearer in the days ahead. While you are waiting, I am working. While you are praying, I am arranging what only my hands can accomplish. Perhaps someone is being prepared even now to enter your life. Perhaps they are learning lessons they could not have learned yesterday. Perhaps I am healing wounds within them so they will not carry unnecessary burdens into the relationship I have planned. In the same way, I have been working within you. Every season of waiting has refined your character. Every trial has strengthened your faith. Every tear has watered seeds that will one day produce beautiful fruit. Do not think that your waiting has been empty. A farmer does not dig up the seed each day to see whether it is growing. He trusts that beneath the surface, life is forming in silence. So it is with my work in your life. Even when you cannot see progress, my promises are taking root. Even when nothing seems to be changing, I am shaping circumstances with perfect wisdom. There was once a traveler who became frustrated because the road ahead disappeared into a thick morning fog. You wanted to see the entire journey before taking another step. But as the sun slowly rose, the fog lifted little by little, revealing only enough of the path for him to continue safely. If the entire road had been revealed at once, he would have noticed cliffs, storms, and steep hills far in the distance. Fear might have convinced him to turn back before he ever reached the beautiful valley waiting beyond them. Instead, by seeing only what was necessary for each step, he found the courage to keep moving until he arrived exactly where he was meant to be. My beloved child, many times I lift the fog one step at a time because I know your heart. I know how easily worry tries to speak louder than faith. I know how quickly uncertainty can tempt you to imagine outcomes that never come to pass. That is why I offer you today's grace instead of tomorrow's burden. I give you today's strength because it is sufficient for today's journey. If someone enters your life soon, do not immediately decide their place in your future. Allow my wisdom to reveal what your emotions cannot. Observe patiently. Pray faithfully. Listen carefully. The truth about people is not discovered in a single conversation or a single impression. Character is revealed through consistency, humility, kindness, and truth over time. I will help you recognize what deserves your trust and what requires healthy distance. Remember that I am never late. I do not rush because I am never afraid of running out of time. My plans unfold with perfect precision. Every meeting has its appointed moment. Every delay carries purpose. Every answer arrives when your heart is most ready to receive it. So release the burden of trying to control every outcome. You were never asked to carry tomorrow on your shoulders. That responsibility belongs to me alone. Walk with confidence, knowing that my eyes are always upon you. I see every unseen detail, every hidden motive, every quiet prayer, and every step that still lies ahead. Trust me, my beloved child, because even when you cannot see the road before you, you can always trust the one who has already reached the destination and is lovingly leading you home. My beloved child, I created you to love, to care, and to welcome others with kindness. Never believe that I desire for your heart to become cold or closed because of the pain you have experienced. I have not called you to live in fear of people, nor have I asked you to question every act of kindness that comes your way. Instead, I am inviting you into something greater than suspicion. I am inviting you into discernment. There is a great difference between the two. Suspicion looks for reasons to reject others, but discernment quietly seeks my wisdom before opening the deepest places of your heart. Many people learn how to wear pleasant expressions. They know how to speak words that sound comforting. They understand how to present themselves in ways that gain trust quickly. But my beloved child, the true condition of a heart is not revealed by a single smile or a beautiful promise. It is revealed by what remains consistent when no reward is expected, when difficulties arise, and when no one else is watching. I see what is hidden beneath every appearance, and I desire to teach you to recognize the fruit that grows from a person's life rather than becoming captivated by the leaves that decorate the surface. Do not be impressed by loud promises alone. Watch how someone treats those who cannot offer them anything in return, and notice whether their words bring peace or constant confusion. Pay attention to whether they speak truth even when it is difficult. Observe whether kindness flows naturally from them or only appears when it serves their own desires. These quiet moments often reveal far more than impressive introductions ever could. There was once a traveler walking through a beautiful forest who became thirsty after many hours on the road. In the distance he saw two streams. One sparkled brightly beneath the sunlight, rushing over polished stones with great noise and excitement. The other flowed quietly beneath the shade of tall trees, almost unnoticed by those passing nearby. The traveler hurried toward the louder stream because it looked more impressive. Yet when he bent down to drink, the water tasted bitter because hidden impurities had been carried along by its rushing current. Disappointed, he turned toward the quieter stream. Its surface reflected little attention, but when he drank from it, the water refreshed him completely. What appeared less remarkable carried the life he truly needed. So it is with many people you will meet. Some will attract attention immediately. Their confidence may seem irresistible, and their words may sound exactly like what you have longed to hear. Others may enter your life gently, without demanding recognition or admiration. Do not let excitement decide what only wisdom should determine. I often reveal lasting treasures through humility rather than display. The loudest voice is not always the truest one. The brightest appearance is not always the safest path. My beloved child, when someone comes into your life, do not feel pressured to know everything about them immediately. Time is one of the gifts I have given you. Time allows masks to fall away. Time reveals habits, priorities, and intentions. Time uncovers whether someone's character remains steady when circumstances become difficult. Those who are genuine do not fear time because truth remains consistent. Those who rely only on appearances often become weary of maintaining what is not real. I know that your heart desires meaningful connection. I place that desire within you. There is nothing wrong with longing for companionship, encouragement, or faithful relationships. But never allow that longing to become so strong that it blinds you to what I am gently showing you. When your desire becomes greater than your discernment, you may overlook the quiet warnings that my Spirit lovingly places before you. If something within your heart feels unsettled, do not ignore it simply because everything appears perfect on the outside. Bring that feeling to me in prayer. Ask me for understanding instead of rushing toward conclusions. Sometimes I will confirm your peace. At other times I may ask you to wait a little longer before moving forward. Neither answer is meant to punish you. Both are expressions of my love. Remember, I am not asking you to judge people harshly. Leave judgment in my hands. I am asking you to walk wisely. Love people generously, but trust them gradually. Offer kindness freely, but protect the sacred places of your heart until character has been proven through patience and consistency. I will never criticize you for taking time to seek my guidance before making important decisions. As you continue this journey with me, keep your eyes fixed on my truth instead of outward appearances. The one who truly belongs in your life will never need deception to earn your trust. What is genuine can withstand honesty, patience, and the light of my presence. Stay close to me, my beloved child, and I will teach your heart to recognize the difference between what merely shines for a moment and what carries the lasting beauty of truth. My beloved child, as you listen to my voice, I want you to understand something that will bring peace to your heart. You are not standing at the beginning of my work in your life. Long before this moment, long before this message reached your ears, I was already preparing you for what lies ahead. You may think your story has been filled with random events, unexpected disappointments, and seasons that seem to have no purpose, but I have never allowed a single chapter of your life to be meaningless. Every step has carried a lesson. Every season has held a purpose. Even the moments that made you question my plans have been quietly shaping you into the person you are becoming. There were times when doors closed before you could walk through them. You wondered why opportunities disappeared just as you began to hope. You questioned why certain relationships ended, why trusted voices became silent, or why dreams seemed to drift farther away instead of drawing closer. My beloved child, I saw every tear you tried to hide. I heard every question that remained unspoken because you did not know how to express the ache within your soul. I was never absent during those moments. I was closer than your next breath, gently carrying you through storms that you did not yet understand. If I had given you everything you desired the moment you asked for it, some blessings would have arrived before your heart was ready to receive them. A gift given too early could become a burden instead of a blessing. That is why my timing is always wrapped in wisdom. I was not delaying your future to frustrate you. I was preparing your character to sustain what I had already planned to place into your hands. Think of a master craftsman shaping a beautiful piece of wood. At first, the wood may not understand why it is being carved, smoothed, or carefully refined. Each cut seems uncomfortable. Each moment of sanding feels unnecessary. Yet the craftsman never works without purpose. He can already see the finished masterpiece while the wood can only feel the process. In the same way, I have been carefully shaping your heart. Every challenge has removed something that could have weakened you. Every lesson has strengthened qualities that will serve you in the days ahead. What felt like loss was often my loving hand removing what no longer belonged in your future. Perhaps you have become more patient than you once were. Perhaps your compassion has grown because of the pain you have endured. Maybe you now recognize the value of honesty, loyalty, humility, and peace in ways you never understood before. These changes did not happen by accident. They are evidence of my faithful work within you. I have been teaching you not only how to recognize the right people, but also how to become the kind of person who reflects my love to others. As someone may soon enter your life, remember that this moment is not only about evaluating them. It is also about recognizing who you have become through my grace. You are no longer the same person who once rushed into situations without seeking my guidance. You are no longer defined by the mistakes that once caused you regret. I have been healing wounds that others could not see. I have been restoring confidence that disappointment tried to steal. I have been replacing fear with wisdom, insecurity with quiet strength, and confusion with growing discernment. Do not allow the memories of past failures to convince you that you will repeat them forever. That is not the story I am writing for your life. Your past may have taught you valuable lessons, but it does not have permission to define your future. I redeem what has been broken. I restore what seemed beyond repair. I use even painful experiences to prepare you for greater joy. Nothing you have surrendered into my hands have been wasted. There were seasons when you believed you were standing still, yet beneath the surface I was doing my deepest work. Roots grow in hidden places before branches reach toward the sky. In the same way, I have been strengthening your faith where no one else could see it. The quiet prayers you whispered, the moments when you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, the times you continued trusting me despite your questions, all of these became part of the foundation I was building within you. So do not fear what is coming, my beloved child. You are not stepping into the unknown alone, and you are not unprepared for the path before you. I have gone before you, and I have also been working within you. The wisdom you need is growing. The strength you require is already taking root. When the right moments arrive, you will discover that I was preparing you long before you ever realized the journey had begun. Trust the work of my hands, for I never begin a good work without faithfully bringing it toward the beautiful purpose I have designed for you. My beloved child, in a world filled with endless voices, constant opinions, and hurried decisions, I've given you a gift that many overlook. It does not demand attention with loud announcements, nor does it force itself upon your heart. It arrives quietly, gently settling over your spirit like the calm that follows a storm. That gift is my peace. Never underestimate its value, for it is one of the greatest ways I guide those who choose to walk closely with me. Many people mistake excitement for my direction. They believe that if something stirs powerful emotions, it must surely come from me. But emotions can rise and fall like waves upon the sea. One day they lift you with hope, and the next they leave you struggling with uncertainty. My peace is different. It does not depend on perfect circumstances. It remains steady even when questions have not yet been answered. It gives your heart a quiet confidence that I am near, even when you cannot see what lies ahead. As someone may come into your life, you may feel many emotions. You may experience joy, curiosity, anticipation, or even nervousness. These feelings are natural, but do not allow them to become your only guide. Before you make room for someone in your heart, pause in my presence. Ask yourself whether my peace is growing within you or whether confusion is quietly taking its place. I am not the author of confusion. While life itself may sometimes be uncertain, my guidance brings clarity over time, not deeper chaos. There was once a sailor preparing for a long voyage across the sea. As he stood at the harbor, many voices surrounded him. Some shouted that he should leave immediately before the winds changed. Others warned him to remain where he was because danger might be ahead. Every opinion seemed convincing, and the louder the voices became, the more uncertain he felt. Then an old captain approached him and said, "Do not let the noise of the harbor decide your journey. Watch the sea itself. It will tell you when it is ready." The sailor waited. As the hours passed, the restless waves slowly became calm. The violent wind softened into a steady breeze, and the water reflected the sky with remarkable stillness. Only then did he begin his voyage. Because he waited for the right conditions instead of reacting to the loudest voices, he reached his destination safely. My beloved child, your heart often resembles that busy harbor. Opinions will come from many directions. Friends may encourage one path while others urge a different one. Your own emotions may change from one day to the next. Even fear may disguise itself as wisdom, telling you to protect yourself from every possibility of disappointment. But above all those voices, my peace remains like the calm sea. Learn to recognize it. Learn to value it. It is one of my precious gifts to you. This does not mean every step I lead you to will feel easy. There will be moments when obedience requires courage. There will be times when you must walk forward despite uncertainty. Yet even in those moments, my peace will remain beneath your feet like a firm foundation. Challenges may surround you, but deep within your spirit there will be an assurance that you are not walking alone. If someone enters your life and you find yourself constantly anxious, constantly trying to earn their approval, constantly wondering where you stand, bring those feelings before me. Do not ignore them. I am not asking you to expect perfection from anyone, but healthy relationships should not continually rob you of the peace I have placed within your heart. Love should encourage trust, honesty, and mutual respect. It should not leave you living in endless fear or confusion. Remember also that waiting in peace is never wasted time. The world often tells you that you must act quickly or lose every opportunity. It teaches you that delay means failure. But my kingdom does not operate through panic. I do not rush you into decisions because I have already prepared what is truly meant for you. What I have planned does not require you to abandon wisdom in order to receive it. So when important moments arrive, do not ask only, "What do I want?" Ask, "Where is the peace that my Father is giving me?" Stay with that question. Sit quietly in my presence. Read my words. Pray with an open heart. Listen more than you speak. As you draw near to me, the restless noise around you will begin to fade, and my gentle voice will become easier to recognize. My beloved child, let my peace become the compass that guides your steps. It will not always reveal the entire journey, but it will faithfully point you toward the next right step. Trust that quiet assurance more than fleeting excitement, more than fear, and more than the opinions of the crowd. When you walk in the peace I provide, you are walking with the one who already knows the destination and who will never lead you astray. My beloved child, I know there have been days when silence has felt heavier than you expected. I have seen the moments when you looked around and wondered why others seem to find companionship so easily while you continue walking through seasons of waiting. I have heard the prayers you whispered late at night, asking if anyone would ever truly understand your heart. I have collected every tear that fell when no one else noticed your pain. Never think that your loneliness has been invisible to me. I have been with you through every quiet evening, every unanswered question, and every longing that words could not fully express. Loneliness is one of the deepest feelings a human heart can experience. It has a way of convincing you that any company is better than no company at all. It whispers that you should lower your standards, ignore your discernment, or overlook what troubles your spirit simply because you are tired of waiting. But my beloved child, loneliness is a feeling, not a faithful guide. If you allow it to make your decisions, it will often lead you toward people who fill a temporary emptiness while leaving a much deeper wound behind. I did not create your heart to survive on desperate attachments. I created it to flourish in relationships built upon truth, respect, kindness, and love. The emptiness you sometimes feel is not proof that I have forgotten you. It is not evidence that you have been abandoned. It is simply a reminder that your soul was designed for meaningful connection. Yet before anyone else can rightly occupy a place within your life, I desire to remind you that I already occupy the place no one else can fill. There was once a young traveler crossing a vast desert. After many days beneath the burning sun, he became desperately thirsty. In the distance he noticed a small pool of water. Without stopping to examine it, he ran toward it with all his strength. But when he reached it, he discovered it was only an illusion shimmering upon the hot sand. His desperation had made him chase something that could never satisfy him. Exhausted, he finally slowed his pace and continued walking with patience. Before long, he arrived at a quiet spring hidden among the rocks. Its waters were cool, pure, and overflowing. And he continued chasing every illusion. He might never have reached the true source prepared for him. My beloved child, loneliness can create mirages within your heart. It can make temporary attention feel like lasting love. It can cause empty promises to sound like lifelong commitment. It can persuade you to ignore warning signs because you fear returning to solitude. But I ask you to slow your steps. Do not run toward every person who offers affection simply because your heart has been waiting. Not everything that appears refreshing will truly nourish your soul. If someone comes into your life during a season when you feel emotionally empty, bring your heart to me before you give it away. Let me examine the places that still need healing. Let me remind you of your worth before you allow another voice to define it. You are not valuable because someone chooses you. You are valuable because I created you in love, called you by name, and have never stopped delighting in you. No human relationship can increase the value I have already placed upon your life. I know that waiting can become tiring. There are moments when you wonder whether patience is worth the cost. Yet every day you choose wisdom over desperation. You are protecting the future I am preparing for you. Every time you refuse to settle for less than what aligns with my peace, you are strengthening the foundation upon which lasting joy can be built. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is often my way of preserving your heart from unnecessary sorrow. Do not mistake solitude for abandonment. There is a sacred difference between being alone and being forgotten. You have never been forgotten. Even in your quietest moments, I have been speaking life into your spirit. I have been teaching you to discover contentment in my presence so that when the right person enters your life, you will welcome them from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness. Healthy love is strongest when two hearts come together already rooted in me, not when they depend on each other to become complete. So when loneliness knocks upon the door of your heart, do not allow it to become the voice that leads your choices. Instead, invite me into that place. Tell me honestly how you feel. I will never turn away from your vulnerability. I will strengthen you with my presence, comfort you with my love, and remind you that every season has its purpose. The one I have prepared for you will never require you to abandon your wisdom in order to receive them. My beloved child, you do not need to chase love in fear that it will pass you by. What I have planned for your life will arrive in my perfect timing. Until that day comes, let my love satisfy the deepest places of your soul. Walk with confidence, knowing that you are never truly alone, for I have been beside you every step of the journey, and I will remain with you through every season that is still to come. My beloved child, there are moments when you wonder why I do not move as quickly as you hope. You pray with sincerity, believing that the answer should arrive immediately. You see opportunities appear before you, and part of your heart wants to seize them without delay. You watch others move ahead, forming relationships, opening new chapters, and celebrating milestones, while you remain in a season that feels slower than you expected. I understand those feelings completely. I know the questions that quietly rise within you. But I want you to hear this truth and hold it close to your heart. I will never rush what needs wisdom. The world often celebrates speed. It tells you that faster is always better. It encourages instant decision, instant trust, instant success, and instant fulfillment. Many voices around you will insist that if you hesitate, you will miss your chance forever. They create urgency where patience is needed, pressure where peace should remain, and fear where faith should be growing. But my kingdom does not move according to the anxiety of the world. I am never driven by panic because I have already prepared every step before you take it. When I ask you to wait, it is never because I have forgotten you. It is because wisdom often grows in places where haste cannot survive. There are lessons that can only be learned through patience. There are blessings that become far more beautiful because they arrive at the right moment instead of the earliest moment. A fruit picked before it is ripe may appear ready on the outside, yet it lacks the sweetness it was meant to carry. In the same way, decisions made before their proper time often bring unnecessary burdens that could have been avoided through patient trust. There was once a builder who dreamed of constructing a strong and beautiful home. He gathered the finest stones, the strongest timber, and every tool he needed. His excitement was so great that he wanted to begin building immediately. But an experienced craftsman stopped him and said, "Before you raise the walls, you must first prepare the foundation. No one will admire it because it will remain hidden beneath the ground, but everything above it will depend upon it." The young builder grew impatient. He wondered why so much time should be spent on something no one would ever see. Yet he listened. Day after day, he carefully strengthened the foundation before placing a single stone above it. Months later, powerful storms swept through the region. Many beautiful houses collapsed because they had been built too quickly. But his home remained standing, not because it looked different from the outside, but because of the unseen work that had been completed beneath it. My beloved child, I care far more about the strength of your foundation than the speed of your progress. Others may only notice what is visible, but I see what is hidden within your heart. I know whether your faith is becoming deeper. I know whether your character is growing stronger. I know whether your discernment is developing in ways that will protect you in the future. These are the things that cannot be rushed without cost. If someone comes into your life during the season, do not feel pressured to decide immediately what place they should occupy in your future. Let your conversations unfold naturally. Allow trust to develop honestly. Give room for truth to reveal itself through time. Those who are genuine will not fear patience. They will understand that meaningful relationships are not built upon urgency but upon consistency, honesty, and mutual respect. Remember that even I often work quietly before revealing the fullness of my plans. A seed spends much of its life hidden beneath the soil before anyone celebrates the harvest. A sunrise begins with the faintest light before the whole sky is filled with brilliance. In the same way, my greatest works often begin in ways that seem slow and unnoticed. Do not despise those quiet beginnings. They are often the birthplace of lasting blessings. There may be days when waiting feels uncomfortable. You may question whether you are missing an opportunity by moving carefully. In those moments, return to my presence. Listen for my peace. I will never condemn you for seeking wisdom before making an important decision. In fact, I delight when you invite me into your choices. Every prayer you whisper before taking a step is evidence that your trust is growing stronger than your fear. My beloved child, do not measure your life against the pace of others. Their journey is not your journey. I have written your story with loving precision, and every chapter unfolds according to my perfect understanding. What seems like a delay today may become the very reason you rejoice tomorrow. One day you will look back and realize that the moments you wished I would hurry were actually the moments when I was protecting you from unnecessary pain and preparing you for something far greater than you could imagine. So rest in this promise. I will never rush what needs wisdom, and I will never ask you to rush either. Walk steadily with me. Let patience become your strength instead of your frustration. Trust that my timing is not only perfect, it is an expression of my love. As you continue following my voice, you will discover that every step taken with wisdom leads you closer to the future I have been faithfully preparing all along. My beloved child, I often speak in ways that the hurried heart overlooks. Many expect my guidance to arrive like thunder from the heavens, leaving no room for uncertainty. They wait for dramatic signs, extraordinary miracles, or unmistakable voices. While I am able to speak in powerful ways, do not forget that I also speak through gentle whispers. I often guide you with quiet impressions, subtle reminders, and peaceful convictions that settle softly within your spirit. If you learn to treasure these gentle moments, you will discover that some of my greatest protection comes through the smallest warnings. There have been times when you sensed that something was not quite right, even though you could not explain why. You may have dismissed that feeling because everything appeared perfect on the surface. Perhaps someone's words sounded convincing, yet something deep within your heart remained unsettled. Maybe an opportunity looked exciting, but your spirit did not find rest. Those moments were not always accidents. Many times, I was lovingly inviting you to slow down, pray, and seek my wisdom before moving forward. Do not confuse my gentle warnings with fear. Virgins. Fear demands immediate reactions. Fear fills the mind with endless terrible possibilities until peace seems impossible to find. My guidance is different. Even when I caution you, my voice remains calm. I do not overwhelm you with panic. I simply invite you to pause, to pay attention, and to trust that I see what you cannot yet see. There was once a shepherd leading his flock through a wide valley. The path ahead looked beautiful, covered with green grass that seemed perfect for grazing. Most of the sheep eagerly rushed toward it. But one older sheep hesitated. It noticed that the shepherd had not yet moved forward. Instead, he was quietly observing the ground ahead. Hidden beneath the tall grass was a deep pit covered by thin branches. Had the flock continued without waiting, many would have fallen into danger. Because the shepherd paused before taking another step, he found a safer path that led them all safely home. My beloved child, I am your faithful shepherd. There are times when what appears attractive may hide dangers that your eyes cannot detect. You may wonder why I asked you to slow your pace when everything seems harmless. Trust me in those moments. I never delay you without purpose. Sometimes the pause itself is my protection. Sometimes waiting for one more day, one more prayer, or one more conversation reveals what haste would have hidden. As someone may enter your life, remember that first impressions are only the beginning of a story, not its conclusion. Do not ignore the quiet questions that arise within your heart simply because you hope everything will work out. Bring those questions to me. Ask me to reveal truth with love and clarity. I delight in answering the prayers of those who sincerely desire wisdom more than convenience. Pay attention to patterns instead of isolated moments. Anyone can say the right words once. Anyone can create a favorable impression for a short time. But consistency reveals character. Watch how people respond when life becomes difficult. Notice whether humility remains when success arrives. Observe whether kindness continues when there is nothing to gain. These small details often reveal far more than grand promises ever could. There will also be moments when my warning comes through the counsel of someone who genuinely cares about you. Do not reject wise advice simply because it challenges what you want to hear. I sometimes place trusted voices along your path to confirm what my spirit has already been gently speaking within your heart. Listen with humility. You are not weak for seeking wisdom. You are growing stronger every time you choose discernment over impulse. At the same time, do not become so focused on looking for danger that you lose the ability to recognize goodness. I have not called you to live with suspicion. I have called you to walk with awareness. There is a difference. A suspicious heart closes every door because it trusts no one. A discerning heart remains open to love while remaining anchored in my wisdom. That is the balance I desire for you. When you feel uncertain, do not force yourself to make immediate decisions. There is strength in waiting upon me. Sit quietly in my presence. Read my words. Let your thoughts become still. As the noise around you begins to fade, my direction will become clearer. I am never confused, and when you remain close to me, I will faithfully guide your steps. My beloved child, never underestimate the value of the gentle whisper. The smallest warning today may spare you from the greatest sorrow tomorrow. The quiet nudge to wait, to pray, or to look a little deeper may become the very reason you walk safely into the future I have prepared for you. Stay attentive to my voice, for I am always leading you with perfect love. Even when my guidance seems gentle, it is powerful enough to protect your heart, direct your steps, and keep you on the path that leads to lasting peace. My beloved child, I want you to remember a truth that will protect your heart long after this moment has passed. The right person will never require you to abandon the peace that I have lovingly placed within you. They will not demand that you silence your conscience, ignore my voice, or constantly sacrifice your inner rest just to keep them close. The relationships I bless are not built upon fear, confusion, or endless striving. They are nurtured through honesty, patience, mutual respect, and the quiet confidence that comes from walking together in my light. You have lived long enough to know that not everything that begins with excitement ends with joy. Sometimes what shines the brightest at the beginning fades the quickest. There are people who know how to create intense emotions, making every conversation feel urgent and every moment feel unforgettable. Yet when the excitement settles, what remains is uncertainty, exhaustion, and questions that never seem to find answers. I do not desire that kind of burden for your heart. I desire a love that reflects my own character, a love that is steady, faithful, truthful, and kind. If someone enters your life and you find yourself constantly wondering where you stand with them, pause for a moment and come into my presence. If every day feels like a test you must pass to earn their affection, listen carefully to what your spirit is telling you. Genuine love does not thrive by keeping you in fear. It grows through trust. It flourishes where honesty is welcomed and where both hearts are free to speak the truth without manipulation or hidden motives. There was once a gardener who planted 2 young trees in his orchard. The first tree grew beside a strong, healthy oak. The oak did not compete with it for every ray of sunlight. Instead, its presence shielded the young tree from harsh winds while allowing it enough space to grow strong on its own. The second tree grew beside a fast-growing vine. At first, the vine looked beautiful. It wrapped itself around the young tree with delicate leaves and colorful flowers. But as the seasons passed, the vine tightened its grip. It stole the sunlight, restricted the branches, and slowly weakened the tree until it could no longer grow freely. My beloved child, not every closeness is healthy. Some relationships strengthen your spirit, while others slowly drain the life I intended for you to enjoy. At first, unhealthy attachments may appear caring because they seek constant closeness. But true love does not suffocate. It does not control every thought, every choice, or every moment of your life. The love that comes from me leaves room for growth, for honesty, for trust, and for each person to flourish in the purpose I have given them. As someone may come into your life, pay attention to what happens within your heart over time. Do you find yourself becoming more peaceful or more anxious? Do you feel encouraged to grow in wisdom, kindness, and faith? Or do you feel pressured to become someone you were never created to be? The answers to these questions matter more than charming words or impressive promises. Character always speaks louder than appearances, and peace often reveals what excitement tries to hide. Do not misunderstand me, my beloved child. Every relationship will experience moments of misunderstanding. Even those who sincerely care for one another will occasionally face challenges. I am not asking you to expect perfection from another human being. I alone am perfect. But there is a profound difference between ordinary struggles that can be overcome through love and communication, and a constant pattern of confusion, disrespect, dishonesty, or manipulation. Healthy relationships face difficulties together. Healthy relationships create difficulties that never seem to end. I also want you to remember that the right person will honor the work I have been doing in your life. They will not mock your desire to seek my guidance. They will not pressure you to compromise your values in order to gain their approval. Instead, they will respect your relationship with me because they recognize that my presence is the source of your strength. They may not always have every answer, but they will value truth, humility, forgiveness, and growth. They will understand that love becomes stronger when it is built upon a firm foundation rather than temporary emotions. Never believe the lie that you must sacrifice your peace in order to keep someone from leaving. If a relationship demands that you constantly betray the convictions I have placed within your heart, it is asking for something I never intended you to give. The peace I have entrusted to you is precious. Guard it carefully. It is not selfish to protect the work I am doing within your soul. It is an act of wisdom. My beloved child, the person I desire to bless your life with will not lead you farther away from me. Your presence will not make you feel smaller, weaker, or more fearful. Instead, over time, you will discover that their character encourages what I have already been cultivating within you. Together, you will find greater strength, deeper peace, and renewed hope. So do not chase relationships that demand the loss of your inner rest. Remain close to me, and I will guide you toward connections that nurture your heart instead of unsettling it. My peace will always remain one of the clearest signs that you are walking the path I have lovingly prepared for you. My beloved child, every opportunity that comes before you does not carry the same purpose. Some opportunities are gifts that I have lovingly prepared for your growth. Others are distractions that appear attractive only because they arrive wrapped in excitement. This is why I ask you not to measure every open door by how appealing it looks. Instead, measure it by the wisdom it produces within your heart. A door that comes from me will never require you to abandon the truth I have been teaching you. It will invite you to walk in faith, patience, humility, and peace. As someone may enter your life, do not rush to decide what place they should hold in your future. Allow your heart to remain steady. Pray before making promises. Listen before forming conclusions. Observe before placing complete trust. There is strength in taking one faithful step at a time. You do not honor me by making hurried decisions. You honor me by inviting me into every important choice you make. Many people ask me for signs while overlooking the wisdom I have already placed before them. They ask me to reveal the future, yet they ignore the present evidence unfolding right before their eyes. My beloved child, wisdom often grows through careful observation. Notice whether words and actions remain in harmony. Pay attention to whether humility continues when no one is applauding. Watch how someone responds when life becomes difficult. Character is not revealed during moments of comfort alone. It becomes visible when patience is tested, when disappointment arrives, and when no reward is guaranteed. There was once a merchant searching for a rare pearl of great value. Along his journey he encountered many merchants offering beautiful stones that sparkled brilliantly beneath the sunlight. They urged him to buy quickly, warning that someone else would take them if he delayed. Yet the merchant had learned an important lesson from his father. Before purchasing anything valuable, he would quietly examine it under clear light. Many stones that looked magnificent from a distance revealed hidden cracks when carefully inspected. Because he refused to hurry, he avoided costly mistakes. At last he found the pearl he had been seeking. It needed no exaggerated promises because its beauty remained genuine under every light. My beloved child, let that wisdom become your own. Do not be pressured by urgency. What is truly meant for you will not require panic to receive it. The blessings I prepare do not depend upon fear. They are secured by my faithfulness. If someone belongs in your life according to my purpose, they will not resent your desire to seek my guidance. They will understand that a heart anchored in wisdom is far stronger than a heart driven by impulse. Before you say yes, pray. Before you commit, seek my peace. Before you place your trust fully into another's hands, ask me to search your heart and reveal anything you may be overlooking. I delight in guiding those who genuinely desire my wisdom. I will never leave you uncertain when you sincerely invite me into your decisions. Sometimes my answer will be to move forward with confidence. Sometimes my answer will be to wait a little longer. At other times I may quietly close a door that seemed promising. Whatever my answer, remember that it is always rooted in my love for you. Do not become discouraged if waiting feels difficult. Every prayer you offer before making an important decision strengthens your relationship with me. Every moment you choose discernment over haste prepares you for lasting peace. I would rather see you arrive a little later with confidence than arrive quickly carrying unnecessary sorrow. Trust that I know what you cannot yet see. When you test every opportunity with wisdom instead of emotion alone, you are choosing the path of maturity. You are allowing my truth to become stronger than temporary feelings. You are demonstrating that your confidence rests not in appearances but in my unfailing guidance. Continue walking this way, my beloved child. The more you seek my wisdom, the more clearly you will recognize the opportunities that truly belong in the beautiful future I have prepared for you. As you carry these words in your heart, I invite you to become part of something greater than the single moment. Every message you receive here is a seed, and every seed has the power to grow into hope inside another weary heart. My word declares, whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and I speak that promise over you even now. When you help these messages reach those who are searching for my comfort, you become a faithful sower in a harvest of healing. I whisper to your heart, my beloved child, place your hand to this work with me. If this message has strengthened your faith, respond with purpose through super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and the QR code shown in this video. Do not see your gift as a simple donation. See it as light traveling into homes where hope has almost gone out. I will bless every willing heart that sows with love, and I will multiply the peace, strength, and provision that flows from cheerful obedience. Do not delay the good you can do today, because someone you may never meet is waiting for the very message your generosity will help deliver. Rise in faith, sow generously, and become part of the harvest I am preparing. My beloved child, one of the hardest lessons for the human heart to learn is that not every door I open is meant to remain open forever. Some people enter your life for a lifetime, while others arrive only for a season. This does not mean those seasons are failure, nor does it mean my hand was absent from them. Every chapter has its purpose. Every meeting has something to teach. Even those who walk beside you for only a short time can leave behind wisdom that will strengthen you for years to come. Do not measure the value of a relationship only by its length. The sunrise lasts only a little while, yet it fills the earth with light. A single kind word spoken at the right moment can change the direction of a person's life forever. In the same way, I sometimes send people to encourage you, to teach you, to challenge you, or to prepare you for what is still ahead. Their assignment may not be permanent, but its impact can be lasting. There were people who once walked closely beside you but are no longer part of your daily life. At times you have wondered why they left. You questioned whether you had failed, whether you had missed my voice, or whether you had somehow ruined what could have been. My beloved child, release those burdens into my hands. Not every ending is the result of a mistake. Sometimes an ending is simply the completion of a purpose. When a season has fulfilled its assignment, holding onto it too tightly may keep you from embracing what I am preparing next. There was once a gardener who carefully tended a beautiful vine growing along the side of his home. Each spring it produced fresh leaves that covered the walls with vibrant color. But as autumn approached, the leaves began to fall. A young boy watching nearby became upset and asked the gardener why he was allowing something so beautiful to disappear. The gardener smiled gently and said, "These leaves are not dying because they have failed. They are making room for new growth that will come in its proper season. The boy did not understand at first. He wanted every leaf to remain exactly as it was. Yet when spring returned, the vine became even healthier than before. New branches stretched farther, stronger blossoms appeared, and richer fruit began to grow. And the old season never ended. The new one could never have fully arrived. My beloved child, life often follows the same pattern. You naturally desire to preserve moments that bring comfort and familiarity. Yet I see the entire journey, and I know when it is time for one chapter to close so another can begin. If I ask you to release something, it is never because I delight in your pain. It is because I love you too deeply to let you remain where growth has already reached its limit. As someone may come into your life, do not immediately assume they are meant to remain forever. Allow me to reveal their purpose over time. Some people will become lifelong companions who walk faithfully beside you through many seasons. Others will simply help you grow in wisdom before continuing along their own path. Both kinds of relationships have value when they are entrusted to my hands. Do not cling so tightly to temporary things that you miss the eternal lessons hidden within them. Instead of asking only, "Will this person stay?" also ask, "What is my Father teaching me through this season?" That question opens your heart to receive wisdom rather than becoming consumed by fear of loss. Every experience can become a blessing when you allow me to shape your heart through it. If someone leaves your life despite your sincere efforts to love them well, do not let bitterness take root. Bitterness convinces the heart that every ending steals something valuable. But forgiveness reminds you that I remain your constant source regardless of who comes or goes. When you release people into my hands, you also free your own heart to receive the peace I desire to give you. Remember that I never leave empty spaces without purpose. When one door closes, I am already aware of the next step. You may not see it immediately, and that is why trust becomes so important. Do not fill every quiet place with regret or endless questions. Allow those spaces to become places where my voice can speak more clearly. Sometimes I remove distractions so you can hear my direction with greater confidence. My beloved child, do not fear the changing seasons of your life. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. People may come and go. Circumstances may change. Chapters may begin and end. But my love for you never fades, and my plans for your future never lose their purpose. Walk forward with open hands instead of fearful ones. Receive each season with gratitude. Learn every lesson with humility. And trust that I know exactly which doors should remain open and which must gently close. As you continue following me, you will discover that every season, whether long or short, has been carefully woven into the beautiful story I have been writing for your life since the very beginning. My beloved child, there are countless moments in your life when my protection surrounds you without you even realizing it. You often recognize my blessings when a door opens, when a prayer is answered, or when joy fills your heart. But there are also blessings hidden within the things that never happened. There are dangers you never encountered because I quietly redirected your steps. There are sorrows you never experienced because I lovingly stood between you and what would have wounded your heart. You may never fully know how many times my unseen hand has carried you safely beyond circumstances that could have changed your life forever. There have been days when you felt disappointed because your plans did not unfold the way you expected. You believed a missed opportunity meant you had fallen behind. You wondered why someone stopped responding to your messages, why a certain relationship never developed, or why a door that seemed so promising suddenly closed without explanation. In those moments, it was easy to think that I had remained silent. Yet many times, my silence was not absence. It was protection. I see what you cannot see. I know what lies beyond every decision before you ever make it. I know the conversations that would have broken your spirit, the betrayals that would have shaken your trust, and the burdens that would have become too heavy for your shoulders. Because I love you, I sometimes say no to what you desperately want in order to preserve what you truly need. There was once a little child walking beside his father through a busy marketplace. The child noticed a brightly colored toy displayed on a merchant's table and immediately reached out to grab it. But the father gently took hold of the child's hand and led him away. The child became upset, believing his father had unfairly taken something wonderful from him. What the child did not know was that the toy had been carelessly crafted, with sharp edges hidden beneath its colorful paint. The father saw the danger that innocent eyes could not detect. His refusal was not an act of cruelty. It was an act of love. Later that same day, the father brought the child to another shop, where he chose a stronger, safer gift that would bring joy for years to come. The child finally understood that what had once seemed like disappointment had actually been protection leading to something better. My beloved child, how often have I done the same for you? You have stood before closed doors, grieving opportunities that slipped away, while I was quietly preserving you for blessings that had not yet arrived. You have questioned my timing without realizing that I was shielding you from pain you were never meant to carry. Trust me when I tell you that my delays are never careless, and my refusals are never without purpose. As someone may come into your life, remember that not every person who leaves is a loss, and not every person who stays is a blessing. This is why you must continue seeking my wisdom rather than leaning only upon your own understanding. If I create distance between you and someone, do not immediately assume that you have failed. Ask me what I am protecting you from. Sometimes I remove people because they are not prepared to walk where I am leading you. Other times I allow them to leave because they would have distracted you from the purpose I have placed before you. There will also be moments when I protect you from yourself. Your heart is capable of great love, but it can also become impatient. It may convince you to move ahead before the proper time or to place your trust where it has not yet been earned. In those moments, my spirit gently reminds you to pause. Those quiet convictions are not obstacles. They are expressions of my fatherly care. I do not seek to limit your joy. I seek to preserve it. Do not become discouraged when you cannot immediately understand my decisions. The child does not always comprehend why a loving parent sets certain boundaries. Understanding often comes later. In the same way, many of my greatest acts of protection only become clear when you look back and see how faithfully I guided your steps. One day you will recognize that some of your deepest disappointments were actually hidden deliverances. The tears you shed over certain closed doors will become songs of gratitude when you realize what I was keeping you from. So, my beloved child, learn to thank me not only for answered prayers but also for unanswered ones. Thank me for the roads I did not allow you to travel. Thank me for the relationships that quietly faded when they were not meant to continue. Thank me for the opportunities that disappeared because they were never part of the future I was preparing for you. Gratitude opens your heart to trust my wisdom even before you understand it. Walk forward without fear, knowing that my protection surrounds you every day. Whether I lead you through an open door or gently close one before you arrive, my purpose remains the same: to guard your heart, strengthen your faith, and guide you toward the life I have lovingly prepared for you. Rest in this assurance. Even when you cannot see my hand, you are always safely held within it. My beloved child, there is a freedom I long for you to experience, and it cannot be found in holding on to yesterday's pain. It is found in forgiveness. I know that when you hear this word, memories may begin to rise within your heart. You remember the promises that were broken, the trust that was betrayed, the words that wounded you. and the moments when you felt abandoned by people you believed would always remain beside you. I have seen every one of those moments. I have never looked away from your suffering, nor have I ever minimized the weight of what you endured. Your pain has always mattered to me. But listen carefully, my beloved child. Forgiveness does not mean pretending that the hurt never happened. It does not mean calling evil good or allowing someone to continue harming you. It does not require you to place yourself back into unhealthy situations. Forgiveness is something much deeper. It is the decision to place justice into my hands instead of carrying the burden upon your own shoulders. It is releasing the chains of bitterness so they no longer imprison your own heart. Bitterness often disguises itself as protection. It whispers that if you remain angry, you will never be hurt again. It tells you that holding on to resentment keeps you strong. But over time, bitterness begins to poison the very heart it promised to protect. It steals your peace. It clouds your discernment. It causes you to expect betrayal even from those who have done nothing to deserve your suspicion. I never intended for you to live beneath such a heavy burden. There was once a traveler carrying a large stone in his backpack. At first, he believed the weight would remind him never to trust the wrong person again. Each day he walked, the stone grew heavier. His shoulders became sore, his steps slower, and his joy gradually disappeared. One afternoon he met an elderly guide who asked why he carried such an unnecessary burden. The traveler replied, "This stone reminds me of those who hurt me. If I put it down, I fear I will forget the lesson." The guide smiled gently and answered, "The lesson belongs in your wisdom, not on your back. You do not need to carry the weight in order to remember what it taught you." After much hesitation, the traveler laid the stone upon the ground. As he continued walking, he realized something remarkable. He had not forgotten the lesson at all. He had simply left behind the burden that was preventing him from moving forward. My beloved child, many hearts live as that traveler once did. They carry old wounds into new seasons. They expect every new relationship to repeat the failures of the last. They become so focused on guarding themselves from pain that they also close themselves to the blessings I desire to bring. I do not want that for you. As someone may come into your life, do not allow yesterday's heartbreak to become today's guide. Learn from your experiences, but do not become imprisoned by them. Wisdom remembers the lesson. Fear remembers only the pain. I am teaching you wisdom, not fear. Perhaps someone hurt you deeply by breaking your trust. Perhaps they spoke words that made you question your worth. Maybe they walked away without explanation, leaving behind questions that were never answered. I know how those memories still echo through quiet moments, but I also know that your future should not remain chained to someone else's choices. They do not deserve to continue occupying the space in your heart that I desire to fill with peace. Forgiveness is not always a single moment. Sometimes it is a journey. There may be days when old memories return, tempting you to reopen wounds that were beginning to heal. When that happens, do not become discouraged. Bring those memories back to me. Each time you surrender them into my hands, your heart grows stronger, and my healing reaches deeper places within you. Remember that forgiveness and trust are not the same. You may forgive someone completely while still exercising wisdom regarding future boundaries. I never ask you to ignore discernment in the name of mercy. Healthy boundaries are not signs of unforgiveness. They are often expressions of the wisdom I have been cultivating within you. You can release resentment while still allowing time to reveal whether trust can be rebuilt. Most importantly, never forget how deeply you have been loved by me. Before anyone disappointed you, I loved you. After they hurt you, I continued loving you. Even now, my love has not changed. It is my love that gives you the strength to forgive what once seemed impossible. When you remember how faithfully I have shown you mercy, your heart becomes more willing to extend mercy without surrendering wisdom. My beloved child, I am preparing your heart for what lies ahead. Do not carry old chains into the new season I am opening before you. Lay every burden at my feet. Release every offense into my hands. Let forgiveness become the key that unlocks the door to greater peace, deeper joy, and healthier relationships. I will guard your heart, guide your steps, and restore every place that pain once tried to claim. As you forgive, you are not losing anything of value. You are making room for the healing, freedom, and love that I have been waiting to pour into your life all along. My beloved child, before anyone ever spoke your name, I knew you. Before you accomplished a single thing, I love you. Before the world formed its opinions about you, I had already declared that your life held purpose. Never allow yourself to forget this truth, because many of the struggles you face begin when you seek your identity in places where it was never meant to be found. Your worth does not depend on who accepts you, who rejects you, who stays, or who walks away. Your identity has always been rooted in me, and nothing can change the love with which I created you. The world often teaches people to measure themselves by comparison. It tells them they are valuable only if they are admired, successful, attractive, or constantly noticed. It whispers that they must earn love through achievement or prove their worth through the approval of others. But my beloved child, those voices will never satisfy the deepest longing of your soul. Human approval rises and falls like the changing seasons. One day people celebrate you, and another day they may overlook you. If your identity is built upon opinions that constantly change, your heart will never find lasting rest. I did not create you to spend your life chasing acceptance. I created you to live from the acceptance I have already given you. You are my beloved child, not because you have earned that place, but because my love chose you long before you understood it. Every good thing I do in your life flows from that relationship. You belong to me, and that belonging cannot be purchased, earned, or taken away. There was once a young musician who carried a beautiful instrument crafted by a skilled master. Everywhere he traveled, strangers offered opinions about it. Some admired its appearance. Others criticized its design. A few even laughed, saying it would never produce beautiful music. Over time, the musician began to doubt the value of what he carried. One day he returned to the workshop where the master who had created the instrument still worked. The master gently took it into his hands, tuned each string with care, and began to play. The room filled with music more beautiful than the young man had ever imagined. The master smiled and said, "Never determine the value of what I created by the opinions of those who did not create it." My beloved child, I speak those same words over your life. Do not let the world define what only your Creator fully understands. I know every gift I placed within you. I know every strength that has not yet fully appeared. I know every dream that I planted in your heart before you ever spoke it aloud. Others may misunderstand you. Some may underestimate you. A few may even try to convince you that you are not enough. But their opinions cannot rewrite the truth that I have spoken over your life. As someone may come into your life, never hand them the responsibility of defining your worth. Healthy relationships are built between two people who already know who they are in me. If you depend upon another person to constantly reassure you of your value, your heart will become exhausted, and so will theirs. But when your identity remains anchored in my love, you are free to love others without making them carry a burden that belongs only to me. This is why I have been teaching you through every season of waiting. I wanted you to discover that my presence is enough. Not because I desire you to remain alone forever, but because I desire you to enter every relationship from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness. A heart that knows its identity is far less likely to settle for less than my best. It does not chase approval because it already lives in the security of my love. There will be moments when people misunderstand your decisions. Some may question why you choose patience instead of rushing ahead. Others may not understand why you protect your peace or maintain healthy boundaries. Do not become discouraged by their opinions. You are not called to live according to every voice around you. You are called to remain faithful to the voice that has guided you from the beginning. My approval is not something you strive to earn. It is the foundation upon which you stand. When discouragement whispers that you are forgotten, remember that I call you by name. When disappointment tells you that you are unworthy of love, remember that I demonstrated my love long before your doubts ever appeared. When fear says that no one will truly value you, remember that the one who formed the stars also formed your heart with careful intention and everlasting affection. My beloved child, keep your identity deeply rooted in me. Let my truth become stronger than every lie you have believed about yourself. Let my love become louder than every voice that has tried to diminish your worth. As you remain firmly planted in my presence, you will discover a confidence that no rejection can destroy, a peace that no disappointment can steal, and a joy that does not depend upon changing circumstances. Then, when the right people enter your life, they will not become the source of your identity. Instead, they will simply become companions walking beside you as you continue living in the beautiful purpose I have always prepared for you. My beloved child, I have taught you about peace, patience, wisdom, forgiveness, and the identity you have in me. Now I want to teach you another truth that will guard your heart throughout your life. True character is never proven in a single moment. It is revealed over time. Just as the seasons reveal the strength of a tree, time reveals what truly lies within the heart of a person. This is why I ask you not to hurry your conclusions about anyone who comes into your life. Give truth the opportunity to reveal itself. Many people know how to make a wonderful first impression. They know the right words to speak, the right gestures to make, and the right image to present. There is nothing wrong with kindness or confidence, but never mistake a beautiful beginning for a complete story. A single conversation cannot reveal a lifetime of character. One act of generosity does not tell you how someone will respond when they are disappointed. One promise cannot show you whether they will remain faithful when keeping that promise becomes difficult. I do not evaluate people by moments alone. I see the pattern of their lives. I see who they are when no one is watching. I see how they treat those who can offer them nothing in return. I see whether humility remains after success, whether honesty survives when the truth is costly, and whether compassion continues when patience is tested. These are the things that reveal genuine character, and I desire to teach your heart to recognize them as well. There was once a traveler searching for a bridge that could carry him safely across a deep river. Along the riverbank, he found two bridges. The first was newly painted, decorated with bright colors, and admired by everyone who passed by. The second was older, simpler, and showed signs of many years of use. Unsure which one to choose, the traveler asked an elderly villager for advice. The villager smiled and replied, "Do not choose the bridge because it is the most beautiful. Choose the one that has faithfully carried people through every season." The traveler watched quietly for several days. He noticed that whenever heavy rain fell and strong winds came, the painted bridge began to shake, and people hurried away from it in fear. But the older bridge remained firm. It had endured countless storms because it had been built with care instead of appearance. The traveler crossed safely because he allowed time to reveal which bridge could truly be trusted. My beloved child, people are much the same. It is easy to appear strong when life is comfortable. It is easy to seem patient when nothing is being tested. But challenges reveal what comfort often hides. Pay attention to how someone responds when plans change unexpectedly. Notice whether they remain respectful when disagreements arise. Observe whether they accept responsibility for their mistakes or constantly place blame upon others. Character becomes visible in ordinary moments repeated consistently over time. As someone may come into your life, do not feel pressured by the expectations of others. Some may encourage you to decide quickly. They may say, "You already know enough, or do not wait too long." But I remind you that wisdom is never afraid of time. What is genuine does not need to be rushed. Truth remains true whether it is examined today or many months from now. Do not become discouraged if patience feels difficult. I know your heart longs for meaningful connection. I know you desire relationships built upon love and trust. Those desires are good, but they must always walk alongside wisdom. Patience does not delay love. It strengthens its foundation. When trust grows gradually through honesty, consistency, and shared faithfulness, it becomes far more resilient than trust built upon excitement alone. Remember also to allow your own character to grow through time. This message is not only about observing others. It is also about becoming the kind of person whose life reflects my truth. Let your words remain dependable. Let your kindness remain steady even when no one notices. Let your integrity remain firm when compromise would seem easier. Do not seek to impress people with appearances. Instead, seek to honor me with the consistency of your heart. When you stumble, do not hide behind excuses. Humility is one of the most beautiful marks of godly character. A person who is willing to admit their mistakes and grow from them often demonstrates greater strength than someone who constantly tries to appear flawless. I do not ask for perfection. I ask for a heart that remains teachable and willing to walk closely with me. My beloved child, never become impatient with the process of discovering truth. Time is one of the faithful servants I have placed within your life. It exposes deception, strengthens trust, deepens understanding, and reveals the fruit that words alone cannot produce. What is rooted in truth will continue to grow stronger with every passing season. What is built upon appearances alone will eventually fade. So continue walking with me one day at a time. Let patience become your companion and wisdom your guide. As you trust my timing, I will help you recognize hearts that are genuine, relationships that are healthy, and opportunities that reflect my goodness. The right people will never fear the passing of time, because their character will only become more beautiful as it is revealed. And as your own life continues to be shaped by my love, you too will become a living testimony that true beauty is found not in momentary appearances, but in a heart that faithfully walks with me through every season. My beloved child, there is something I want you to remember every day of your life. Your heart is precious to me. It is not just a place where emotions rise and fall. It is the place where hope is born, where faith grows, where love takes root, and where my voice gently speaks. Because your heart is so valuable, I care deeply about what enters it, what remains within it, and what tries to steal its peace. I will never treat your heart carelessly, and I do not want you to treat it carelessly either. From the very beginning, I created your heart with the capacity to love deeply. That is one of my gifts to you. The ability to care, to trust, to show compassion, and to form meaningful relationships reflects something of my own nature. Yet because your heart is capable of great love, it is also capable of experiencing deep pain. I know the wounds you carry that no one else can see. I know the disappointment that still echoes from conversations you wish had ended differently. I know the promises that were broken and the moments when you question whether your heart would ever feel whole again. My beloved child, I have never looked at your wounded places with disappointment. I look upon them with compassion. I am not impatient with your healing. I do not ask you to pretend that your pain never existed. Instead, I invite you to bring every hidden burden into my presence. Nothing you revealed to me will ever cause me to love you less. I already know every scar, and I remain beside you with healing in my hands. There was once a craftsman who inherited a beautiful lamp that had been passed down through many generations. One day, while carrying it through his workshop, he stumbled, and the lamp fell to the ground. Though it did not shatter completely, several cracks appeared across its surface. The craftsman could have thrown it away and searched for another, but instead he carefully gathered every piece. With patience and great skill, he restored it, strengthening the fragile places until the lamp shone once again. When visitors admired its beauty, they did not realize that its greatest strength had come through careful restoration rather than untouched perfection. My beloved child, that is how I work within your life. I do not discard what has been wounded. I restore it. I do not reject hearts because they have experienced sorrow. I draw them closer to myself so they may become even stronger through my healing grace. The places where you have suffered can become places where my love shines most brightly, not because pain is good, but because my restoration is greater than the pain itself. As someone may come into your life, never believe that you must ignore your own heart in order to make someone else comfortable. I have entrusted your heart to your care. Protecting it is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of wisdom. Healthy boundaries are not walls built out of fear. They are gates that allow truth, kindness, and trust to enter while preventing deception and harm from taking root. There may be people who expect immediate access to the deepest parts of your life. They may become impatient when you choose to move carefully. Do not be troubled by this. Those who genuinely value you will also value the work I am doing within you. They will understand that trust grows through faithfulness, not through pressure. They will never ask you to ignore the convictions I have placed in your spirit simply to satisfy their expectations. Remember also to guard your heart from voices that continually speak discouragement. Not every opinion deserves a place in your thoughts. Some words are spoken carelessly, while others are spoken from hearts that are themselves wounded. Bring every voice before me. If it agrees with my truth, let it strengthen you. If it contradicts the love and purpose I have spoken over your life, release it. Do not allow lies to build a home in the place where my truth desires to dwell. Your heart also needs rest. Do not feel guilty for stepping away from constant noise so you can spend quiet moments with me. In silence, I often heal wounds that endless activity only hides. In stillness, I remind you who you are. In my presence, burdens become lighter, fear loses its grip, and hope quietly begins to bloom again. Never underestimate the power of simply sitting with me. Some of my deepest work is accomplished when you stop striving and allow my peace to surround you. My beloved child, I delight in seeing your heart become healthy, not hardened. There is a difference. A hardened heart closes itself to love because it fears being hurt again. A healthy heart remains open to love while walking with wisdom. That is the balance I desire for you. I do not want pain to transform you into someone who no longer trusts, no longer hopes, or no longer believes in goodness. I want my healing to make you stronger without making you colder. So place your heart into my hands each day. Let me examine it, strengthen it, and renew it. Allow me to remove every hidden fear, every lingering bitterness, and every false belief that tells you that you are beyond healing. You are not beyond my reach. You never have been, and you never will be. Your heart is precious to me because you are precious to me. I will guard what you entrust to me, restore what has been broken, and prepare your heart for every good thing I have lovingly planned for your future. Trust me, my beloved child, for no one will ever care for your heart more faithfully than I do. My beloved child, do not assume that I work only through the people you expect. My ways are often different from human expectations, and my plans frequently unfold through ordinary moments and unlikely individuals. I delight in reminding you that my power is not limited by appearances, status, influence, or reputation. I can use someone you have never noticed to bring encouragement into your life. I can send wisdom through a quiet voice that the world overlooks. I can arrange a meeting that seems ordinary on the surface but carries the fingerprints of my purpose from beginning to end. Many times, you have imagined how I would answer your prayers. You picture in certain faces, certain places, and certain circumstances. You believe the blessing would arrive in a particular way because it made sense to your understanding. Yet I have often surprised my children throughout history. I have chosen unexpected paths to reveal my faithfulness, not to confuse them, but to teach them that their confidence should rest in me rather than in their own expectations. There was once a traveler who had become lost in a vast forest. As the daylight faded, he searched desperately for someone who looked experienced enough to guide him home. He ignored a young shepherd tending sheep because he assumed the shepherd knew nothing about the deeper parts of the forest. Instead, the traveler waited for someone who appeared more important. Hours passed, and darkness continued to grow. Finally, exhausted and discouraged, he approached the shepherd and asked if he knew the way out. The shepherd smiled kindly and replied, "I have walked these paths every day since I was a child. I know every stream, every hill, and every safe road." The traveler followed him and soon reached the edge of the forest. As he looked back, he realized that help had been standing nearby all along. He had almost missed it because he judged the guide by appearance instead of wisdom. My beloved child, how often have people overlooked my gifts because they expected them to arrive in a different package? I do not choose according to human standards. I look at the heart. I see qualities that others cannot see. I recognize faithfulness in places where the world notices only simplicity. This is why I ask you to remain humble. Humility keeps your heart open to the unexpected ways I choose to work. As someone may come into your life, do not reject them simply because they do not match every expectation you have created. At the same time, do not accept them merely because they appear impressive. Bring every encounter before me. Let my wisdom become greater than your assumptions. The right person may arrive with quiet confidence rather than loud attention. They may possess a gentle spirit instead of an impressive reputation. They may carry kindness, integrity, and compassion that are not immediately recognized by those who only look at outward appearances. Remember that I am not asking you to ignore discernment. Discernment and openness must walk together. If you become suspicious of everyone, you may miss the blessings I have prepared. If you become too trusting without wisdom, you may welcome burdens that were never intended for you. I am teaching you to remain open without becoming careless, and wise without becoming fearful. There may also be times when I use you to become the unexpected blessing in someone else's life. Never underestimate the power of a kind word spoken at the right moment. Never believe that small acts of compassion go unnoticed by me. A gentle encouragement, a patient conversation, a sincere prayer, or a helping hand may become the answer to someone else's cry for hope. You do not always know the battles people are fighting within their hearts. But I know, and I can work through your willingness to love them well. Do not compare yourself to others and conclude that you have little to offer. The world often celebrates what is loud, visible, and impressive. but I often accomplish my greatest work through faithful hearts that quietly obey my voice. A single act of obedience can reach farther than years of human effort. When you allow me to guide your steps, your ordinary day can become part of someone else's miracle. My beloved child, remain teachable. Sometimes I will speak through a child whose faith is simple. Sometimes I will speak through an elderly person whose quiet wisdom hath been shaped by many years of walking with me. Sometimes I will speak through a friend, a stranger, or even a difficult situation that teaches you a lesson you could learn no other way. Do not become so attached to your expectations that you overlook my presence when it appears in an unexpected form. As you continue this journey, remember that every person who crosses your path carries a story known fully by me. Treat others with kindness, but allow discernment to guide your trust. Welcome opportunities to encourage, to listen, and to learn. The blessing you have been praying for may arrive through someone you never expected, just as you may become the blessing that someone else had been praying to receive. So walk forward with an open heart anchored in my wisdom. Keep your eyes fixed upon me rather than upon appearances. I know exactly who should enter your life and when they should arrive. I know who will help strengthen your faith, who will challenge you to grow, and who will walk beside you with sincerity. Trust my guidance above your assumptions, my beloved child, and you will discover that my greatest surprises are always wrapped in my perfect love and purposeful timing. My beloved child, there is a voice that often tries to speak before my voice has finished speaking. It is the voice of fear. It arrives quietly at times and loudly at others. It reminds you of every disappointment you have endured, every promise that was broken, and every moment when your heart was wounded. It tells you that history will repeat itself, that people cannot be trusted, and that it is safer to build walls around your heart than to allow love to enter again. But I tell you this with all the tenderness of a loving father: fear was never meant to become your counselor. I understand why fear seems convincing. It often disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you that if you expect the worst, you will never be surprised by pain. It whispers that if you never trust anyone again, no one will ever have the opportunity to hurt you. But my beloved child, a life directed by fear is not truly a life of freedom. Fear promises protection, yet it often builds prisons where I intended gardens to grow. It closes doors that I may be opening. It silences hope before hope has a chance to speak. When fear becomes your guide, every new person begins to resemble someone from your past who wounded you. Every opportunity appears dangerous. Every unanswered question feels like proof that something terrible is about to happen. Fear does not allow you to see people as they truly are. Instead, it forces them into the shape of old memories. That is why I ask you to bring your fears into my presence rather than allowing them to shape your future. There was once a young shepherd who had faithfully cared for his flock through many peaceful seasons. One night, a wolf came and scattered several sheep before the shepherd managed to drive it away. Though he eventually gathered the flock again, the memory of that frightening night remained with him. From that day forward, every rustling leaf sounded like another wolf. Every shadow among the trees appeared threatening. He spent so much time chasing imagined dangers that he nearly neglected the sheep who truly needed his care. An older shepherd noticed his exhaustion and gently said, "Your eyes have become fixed on yesterday's danger instead of today's responsibility. Stay alert, but do not allow yesterday's fear to steal today's peace." Those words changed the young shepherd's heart. He continued watching carefully, but he no longer surrendered every quiet moment to anxiety. His awareness remained, but his fear no longer ruled him. My beloved child, I desire the same freedom for you. I am not asking you to become careless. I'm asking you to become courageous. Courage is not the absence of caution. Courage is choosing to trust me even while uncertainty still exists. It is believing that my wisdom is greater than your fear, and that my presence is stronger than every possibility that tries to trouble your heart. As someone may come into your life, do not allow fear to decide their place before truth has had the opportunity to reveal itself. If fear says, "They will leave you just like everyone else," bring that thought to me. If fear whispers, "Do not open your heart because you will only be disappointed again," answer it with my promises instead. I have not called you to live expecting betrayal. I have called you to walk with discernment while resting in my faithful care. Remember how many times I have carried you through situations you once believed would destroy you. Think of the seasons when you wondered how you would continue, yet here you are, still walking with me. The same hand that sustained you then has not grown weak today. My power has not diminished. My love has not become uncertain. My faithfulness has not reached its limit. Fear always focuses on what might happen. Faith remembers who is walking beside you. Fear asks, "What if everything goes wrong?" Faith gently replies, "What if my Father is already preparing everything that is right?" Fear magnifies the unknown until it seems overwhelming. Faith magnifies my presence until the unknown no longer holds the greatest place in your heart. There will be moments when fear returns, because you are still growing. Do not condemn yourself when those moments come. Instead, recognize them as invitations to draw closer to me. Speak honestly with me about your concerns. I am never offended by your questions. I would rather you bring your fears into my light than hide them in the darkness where they continue to grow. As you place each anxious thought into my hands, I will replace it with a deeper confidence in my care. My beloved child, never forget that I walk ahead of you as well as beside you. Before you arrive at tomorrow, I am already there. Before a conversation begins, I know every word that will be spoken. Before a decision is made, I see every possible outcome. Nothing surprises me, and because nothing surprises me, you do not have to surrender your peace to uncertainty. So let my voice become louder than the voice of fear. Let my promises become stronger than your painful memories. Let my love cast out every lie that tells you you must live guarded by anxiety instead of guided by wisdom. Fear is not your counselor. I am. Stay close to me, my beloved child, and I will lead you with courage, discernment, and peace into every good thing I have prepared for your life. My beloved child, one of the reasons I have been teaching you patience, discernment, and peace is because not everything that appears good truly comes from me. There are times when the enemy cannot tempt you with something obviously harmful, so he chooses a more subtle path. He imitates what is good. He wraps deception in attractive appearances. He offers shortcuts that resemble my blessings but lack my truth. This is why I continually remind you not to judge by appearances alone. What glitters is not always gold, and what sounds pleasing is not always why. Do not be afraid when you hear these words. I am not telling you this so you will become suspicious of everyone or fearful of every opportunity. I am telling you because I love you. A loving father warns his child about hidden dangers, not to fill the child's heart with anxiety, but to prepare the child to walk safely. In the same way, I am preparing you to recognize the difference between what merely looks good and what truly carries my peace. The enemy often imitates the destination while changing the path. He may offer attention that feels like love but is rooted in control. He may present excitement that feels like purpose but leads only to confusion. He may encourage haste when I am inviting you into patience. He knows that if he cannot keep you from desiring good things, he will try to persuade you to seek them in the wrong way or at the wrong time. There was once a young traveler searching for a city known for its beauty and peace. Along the road he reached a place where two signs pointed in different directions. Both signs carried the same name of the city he sought. One path was wide, smooth, and crowded with cheerful travelers who insisted it was the quickest route. The other path was quieter, narrower, and climbed steadily over a hillside. Unsure which direction to take, the traveler met an old guide who had walked those roads many times. The guide said, one sign was placed there by those who wanted travelers to lose their way. It promises speed but leads into a wilderness where many become trapped. The other path requires patience, but it reaches the true city. The traveler chose the quieter road. It demanded more endurance, yet every step brought him closer to the destination he had hoped to find. Later he learned that many who had rushed along easier paths spent years trying to find their way back after realizing they had been deceived. My beloved child, this is why I ask you to value my wisdom above quick results. The enemy often appeals to impatience because impatience weakens discernment. When you believe you must have an answer immediately, you become more vulnerable to accepting what has not been carefully examined. But when you remain close to me, allowing my peace to guide your heart, deception loses much of its power. As someone may come into your life, remember that not every expression of affection reflects genuine love. Some people know how to speak words that create emotional excitement, yet their actions quietly tell a different story. Others may promise everything you have longed to hear while avoiding the responsibility that true love requires. I do not ask you to become cynical. I ask you to become attentive. Watch for consistency. Watch for humility. Watch for honesty that remains unchanged when circumstances become difficult. The fruit of a person's life will reveal more than their promises ever can. The enemy also imitates urgency. He whispers, if you do not decide today, you will lose your only opportunity. But I do not lead my children through panic. I lead them through peace. When I open a door, my timing does not depend upon fear. I have never required you to abandon wisdom in order to receive my blessings. If something truly comes from me, it will withstand prayer, patience, and careful examination. Remember that truth never fears the light. A relationship rooted in honesty welcomes accountability. A genuine opportunity remains strong when brought before me in prayer. What comes from my hand and not weaken under scrutiny. Instead, it becomes clearer. Deception, however, often avoids the light because it depends upon haste, secrecy, and confusion to survive. Do not become discouraged if you have been deceived in the past. Those experiences do not mean you are destined to repeat them. I have been strengthening your discernment through every lesson you have learned. The wisdom you possess today is greater than it was yesterday because I have faithfully walked beside you through both joy and disappointment. Even the mistakes you regret have become classrooms where my grace has been teaching you to recognize my voice more clearly. My beloved child, never forget that my truth is stronger than every imitation. My light always overcomes darkness. If you continue seeking me with a sincere heart, I will faithfully expose what needs to be revealed. I will not leave you wandering in confusion. I will guide you step by step, protecting you from what is false and leading you toward what is genuine. So do not be captivated by appearances alone. Test every opportunity with prayer. Measure every relationship by its fruit rather than its promises. Let my peace become the quiet confirmation that steadies your heart. As you remain close to me, you will discover that no imitation can compare to the beauty of the blessings I have truly prepared for you. What I give will never require deception to appear valuable, because my gifts carry the unmistakable marks of truth, love, wisdom, and lasting peace. My beloved child, There will be days when the road before you does not seem as clear as you hoped. Questions will arise. Decisions will wait to be made. You may wonder whether you are moving in the right direction, or whether you have misunderstood what I have been saying to your heart. In those moments, remember this promise: my word will keep your path clear. I have never asked you to walk through life without guidance. I have given you truth that does not change with circumstances, opinions, or passing emotions. When everything around you feels uncertain, my word remains steady, and it will continue to light the way before you. The world changes quickly. Ideas that seem popular today may be forgotten tomorrow. Advice comes from every direction, and many voices compete for your attention. Some will tell you to follow your feelings above everything else. Others will encourage you to seek whatever brings the quickest reward. But my beloved child, feelings can change, and human wisdom has limits. My truth does not shift with the wind. It remains faithful because it comes from the one who sees the end from the beginning. Think of a traveler walking through a valley after sunset. The darkness hides every stone and every turn in the road. If the traveler refuses to carry a lamp, every step becomes uncertain. But with even a small light in his hand, he does not need to see the entire journey. He only needs enough light for the next step. As he continues walking, the light moves with him, revealing what was once hidden. That is how my word works within your life. I do not always reveal the entire future because I desire you to walk closely with me each day. Instead, I illuminate the next faithful step. I teach you to trust me one decision at a time, one prayer at a time, one act of obedience at a time. As you continue walking with me, what once seemed uncertain gradually becomes clear. My beloved child, do not neglect the treasure I have placed within your reach. Return often to my word, not as a duty, but as a conversation between a father and his beloved child. Read it slowly. Meditate upon it. Allow its truth to settle deeply into your heart. There will be mornings when a single sentence strengthens you for an entire day. There will be evenings when a familiar promise suddenly carries new meaning because it speaks directly into the situation you are facing. This is how I nourish your spirit. This is how I remind you that I have not left you to depend upon your own understanding. As someone may come into your life, let my word become the measure by which you evaluate every relationship. Do not judge only by appearance, charm, or emotional excitement. Ask whether the relationship encourages honesty, kindness, humility, forgiveness, and peace. Ask whether it draws you closer to my presence or quietly distracts you from it. Anything that consistently pulls your heart away from my truth deserves careful examination. I do not say this to limit your joy. I say it because I desire your joy to be lasting rather than temporary. There was once a young builder who inherited 2 maps from his grandfather. One map was beautifully decorated with bright colors and elaborate drawings, but it had been created by someone who had never traveled the land. The second map was plain and simple, marked only with clear directions drawn by those who had walked every path themselves. At first, the young builder admired the colorful map because it was more impressive to look at. But after becoming lost several times, he finally unfolded the simpler map. It guided him safely across rivers, through forests and over mountains until he reached his destination. Later he understood that truth does not need decoration to remain trustworthy. What matters is not how impressive something appears, but whether it faithfully leads you where you need to go. My beloved child, my word is that trustworthy map. It was not written to entertain your curiosity. It was given to guide your life. Whenever confusion tries to cloud your thinking, return to it. Whenever fear whispers louder than faith, return to it. Whenever disappointment tempts you to give up hope, return to it. My promises have carried countless generations before you, and they will faithfully carry you as well. Do not become discouraged if you do not understand everything immediately. Growth is a journey. A tree does not become strong in a single day, and neither does faith. Every time you choose to trust my truth instead of your fears, your roots grow deeper. Every time you obey my voice instead of following the pressure of the world, your confidence in me becomes stronger. Little by little, your life becomes firmly established upon a foundation that cannot be shaken by changing circumstances. My beloved child, I have not left you wandering without direction. I walk beside you, and my word walks with you. It will correct you when you begin to drift. It will comfort you when your heart grows weary. It will strengthen you when you feel weak, and it will remind you of my promises when doubt tries to steal your peace. Hold tightly to my truth, and let it become the lamp that guides every step you take. As long as you remain close to me and allow my word to shape your heart, you will never walk alone, and I will faithfully lead you along the path that ends in the beautiful future I have lovingly prepared for you. My beloved child, there is a place where my voice becomes easier for you to recognize. It is not always found in crowded rooms or in the endless noise of daily responsibilities. It is often discovered in quiet moments, when you set aside distractions and simply remain with me. The world teaches you that every empty moment must be filled with activity, conversation, or constant information. But I tell you that some of the greatest truths I will ever reveal to you are uncovered in stillness. When your heart becomes quiet before me, you begin to hear what anxiety, hurry, and endless noise have been trying to drown out. I know that silence can sometimes feel uncomfortable. When everything becomes still, thoughts you have been avoiding often rise to the surface. Questions you buried beneath busyness begin asking for your attention. Old memories may appear, and emotions you thought had disappeared may quietly return. Do not be afraid of these moments. I am not leading you into silence to overwhelm you. I am leading you there so I can heal what has been hidden and strengthen what has been growing. There was once a young man who lived beside a beautiful lake. Every day he hurried past it on his way to work, believing there was nothing special about its quiet waters. One evening, after a long season of exhaustion, he finally sat beside the shore as the wind settled and the surface became completely still. For the first time, he noticed the reflection of the mountains, the trees, and the stars appearing with remarkable clarity. He realized that the beauty had always been there. It had simply been hidden whenever the water was disturbed. My beloved child, your heart is much like that lake. When it is constantly stirred by worry, fear, endless opinions, and hurried decisions, it becomes difficult to recognize my reflection within you. But when you come into my presence and allow your spirit to rest, clarity begins to appear. You start seeing situations differently. What once seemed confusing becomes understandable. What once felt overwhelming begins to lose its power. My peace gently settles over your heart, and my wisdom rises where anxiety once ruled. As someone may come into your life, do not make every decision in the middle of emotional storms. If your thoughts are racing and your heart feels unsettled, give yourself permission to become still before me. You do not have to answer every question immediately. You do not have to respond to every expectation placed upon you. Some decisions become clearer after a season of quiet prayer than after countless hours of anxious thinking. Many people believe they are waiting for me to speak, while I am waiting for them to become still enough to listen. My voice is not absent. It is patient. I do not compete with every distraction for your attention. I gently invite you to draw near. When you open your heart without rushing, you will often discover that I have been speaking all along through the peace I have placed within you. through my word, and through the quiet assurance of my spirit. Do not mistake silence for abandonment. There will be seasons when my guidance seems slower than you desire, yet even then I am working faithfully. A seed beneath the soil does not stop growing simply because it cannot be seen. In the same way, my work within your life continues even when everything appears quiet. I am strengthening roots that will one day support blessings you cannot yet imagine. Quiet moments also teach you to know your own heart. They reveal the difference between desires that come from love and fears that come from old wounds. They help you recognize whether you are being guided by peace or driven by pressure. When you regularly spend time with me, your discernment becomes sharper because you learn to recognize my character more clearly. The more familiar you become with my voice, the easier it becomes to recognize voices that do not reflect my truth. Do not believe that time spent with me is time taken away from your responsibilities. It is time preparing you to fulfill them with greater wisdom. A heart that begins the day in my presence carries a different strength into every conversation, every challenge, and every opportunity. You become less reactive and more thoughtful, less fearful and more confident, less dependent upon changing circumstances and more rooted in my unchanging love. My beloved child, make room for quiet moments in your life. Guard them as precious gifts rather than treating them as empty spaces that must be filled. Sit with me without always asking for immediate answers. Sometimes my greatest gift is not a new instruction but a deeper awareness of my presence. In that awareness, courage begins to replace fear. Hope quietly rises where discouragement once lived. Wisdom grows stronger than impulse, and peace becomes the steady foundation beneath your steps. As you continue walking with me, remember that I am never far away. I am waiting in the quiet place, ready to renew your strength, calm your heart, and reveal the truths you need for the next step of your journey. Come to me often, my beloved child. In stillness you will discover that my love has been surrounding you all along, and in the quiet you will hear the gentle voice that has faithfully guided you from the very beginning. My beloved child, there are moments when you stand at the edge of tomorrow and wonder what awaits you. You look ahead with questions that have not yet found answers. You ask whether the path will be peaceful or difficult, whether the people you meet will strengthen your life or test your faith, and whether the hopes you carry will finally become reality. As you hold these questions in your heart, I want you to remember one unchanging truth. Before you ever arrive at tomorrow, I am already there. I am already working ahead of you. You experience life one day at a time, but I see your entire journey at once. I know every sunrise you have not yet witnessed, every conversation you have not yet had, and every opportunity that is quietly making its way toward you. Nothing catches me by surprise. Nothing appears before me unexpectedly. While you are praying about the future, I am already preparing it. While you are waiting for doors to open, I am arranging circumstances that your eyes cannot yet see. There have been times when you believed nothing was happening because everything around you seemed unchanged. You looked at your life and saw only ordinary days repeating themselves. But my beloved child, some of my greatest works begin long before they become visible. Just because your eyes cannot detect movement does not mean my hands are still. I am always working with purpose, even when my work is hidden beneath the surface. There was once a king who desired to build a magnificent garden in the center of his kingdom. The people expected construction to begin immediately. They looked each day for walls, fountains, flowers, and trees. Weeks passed, yet they saw only workers digging deep into the ground. Many became disappointed. Some even laughed, believing the project had failed before it had truly begun. What they could not see was that the workers were building an intricate system beneath the soil. They were preparing channels that would carry fresh water to every corner of the future garden. Months later, when the trees were planted and the flowers began to bloom, the entire kingdom admired the beauty before them. Few realized that the unseen work beneath the ground was what made every blossom possible. My beloved child, my work in your life often follows the same pattern. I prepare what cannot yet be seen so that what will eventually be seen can flourish. I strengthen foundations before I build visible blessings. I shape hearts before I establish relationships. I arrange circumstances before I open doors. If I revealed everything at once, you might overlook the beauty of my wisdom in the hidden seasons. As someone may come into your life, remember that I have been preparing more than just the meeting itself. I have been preparing you. I have also been working within the lives of others. I know the lessons they still need to learn, the healing they still need to receive, and the growth that must take place before your paths are meant to cross. That is why I ask you not to force what I am still preparing. A blessing that arrives before its appointed time may not yet be ready to carry the fullness of my purpose. Trust that I know how to bring the right people together at the right moment. I do not depend upon coincidence. I do not rely upon chance. My timing is woven together with wisdom that reaches far beyond human understanding. What seems like an unexpected encounter to you may have been part of my loving plan long before you were aware of it. Do not become discouraged if you cannot see immediate progress. Think of the sunrise. Long before its light reaches the horizon, the earth is already turning toward it. The dawn does not arrive suddenly without preparation. It hath been approaching while the world was still asleep. In the same way, many of the answers to your prayers are already moving toward you even though they have not yet entered your view. This is why I ask you to remain faithful in the present. Continue choosing kindness when no one notices. Continue praying when answers seem delayed. Continue walking in integrity when shortcuts appear easier. Every act of faithfulness prepares your heart for the future I am unfolding before you. Nothing done in obedience is ever wasted. Every quiet step of trust becomes part of the story I am writing through your life. My beloved child, release the burden of trying to control what belongs in my hands. You do not need to solve tomorrow before it arrives. You do not need to carry worries that I have never asked you to bear. Your responsibility is to remain close to me today. My responsibility is to prepare what awaits you tomorrow. I will never fail in what I have promised. So lift your eyes with hope instead of anxiety. Walk forward with confidence instead of fear. Even when the road bends beyond your sight, know that my footsteps have already gone before yours. I am arranging what you cannot arrange, opening what you cannot open, and protecting you from what you cannot yet recognize. Trust my unseen work, my beloved child. The future is not waiting for me to arrive. I am already there, preparing every detail with perfect love, perfect wisdom, and perfect faithfulness for the beautiful purpose I have always intended for your life. My beloved child, I created love to be one of the greatest gifts you could ever experience. It was never meant to become a burden that slowly steals your joy or a weight that leaves your heart exhausted. Love as I designed it brings life. It strengthens, encourages, restores, and reflects my own heart. That is why I want you to understand this deeply. True love should never cost you the peace I have placed within your soul. There are times when people confuse sacrifice with surrendering their well-being. They believe that loving someone means accepting constant confusion, endless disrespect, or repeated wounds without wisdom. They convince themselves that if they endure enough pain, love will eventually change the other person. My beloved child, love is patient, but it is not blind. Love is forgiving, but it does not ignore truth. Love is compassionate, but it does not celebrate what continually destroys the peace I have given you. I know your heart desires to see the best in others, That is one of the beautiful qualities I placed within you. Yet if that desire is not guided by discernment, it can lead you to remain in situations that slowly weaken your spirit. I never ask you to sacrifice the health of your soul in order to prove your love. The relationships I bless will challenge you to grow, but they will not continually pull you away from the peace, dignity, and purpose I have established within you. There was once a man who tended a flourishing vineyard. Every vine had been planted with care, and each one received enough sunlight, water, and attention to produce healthy fruit. One day he noticed a fast-growing weed wrapping itself around one of the strongest vines. At first it seemed harmless. Its leaves were green, and its growth appeared impressive. Some who passed by even admired how full the vine looked. But the gardener understood something others could not see. The weed was slowly taking nourishment that belonged to the vine. It was tightening its grip day by day, limiting the vine's ability to grow freely. Though removing it required careful work, the gardener gently cut the weed away before it could do greater harm. In time, the vine became healthier than ever, producing fruit far sweeter than before. My beloved child, not everything that clings to your life belongs there. Some attachments may appear beautiful at first while quietly draining the strength I intended you to enjoy. This is why I ask you to pay attention not only to how someone makes you feel in a single moment, but also to who you are becoming through their consistent presence in your life. Ask yourself gentle but honest questions. Do you find yourself growing in peace, patience, kindness, and faith? Or do you find yourself living in constant anxiety, questioning your worth, and losing the quiet confidence I have been building within you? These questions are not meant to fill your heart with suspicion. They are invitations to walk with wisdom. As someone may come into your life, remember that healthy love creates space for honesty. It does not require endless pretending. You should not feel that you must hide your thoughts, silence your convictions, or become someone you are not simply to keep another person's affection. I created you with purpose, and the right relationships will honor the person I am shaping you to become rather than demanding that you abandon your identity. There will be moments when love requires sacrifice. You will need to forgive, to show patience, to extend grace, and to choose humility. These are beautiful expressions of love. But there is a difference between sacrificial love and destructive compromise. Sacrificial love draws both people closer to truth. Destructive compromise slowly pulls one person away from the peace and wisdom I have placed within them. Learn to recognize that difference, my beloved child. Never believe that constant emotional turmoil is proof of deep love. Many people mistake intensity for intimacy. They think that dramatic highs and painful lows reveal passion, when in reality they often reveal instability. The love I desire for you grows steadily. It is rooted in trust rather than fear. It speaks truth without cruelty. It corrects with gentleness. It celebrates faithfulness more than excitement. Like a strong tree planted beside living waters, it continues to stand through changing seasons because its roots reach deep. If you ever find yourself losing the peace I have repeatedly confirmed in your heart, do not ignore that gentle warning. Come to me. Pray honestly. Search my word. Allow me to show you whether you are carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. I do not condemn you for asking difficult questions. I delight when you invite me into the deepest places of your life, because I care about your heart far more than you realize. My beloved child, I did not create you to survive on uncertainty. I created you to flourish in the security of my love. Let every relationship be measured against the peace I have given you. Protect that peace with humility and wisdom, not with fear. The one I prepare for your life will never require you to exchange my presence for their approval. They will encourage what I am building within you, not slowly tear it down. So hold tightly to the peace I have entrusted to your heart. It is one of my most precious gifts to you. Let it guide your decisions, strengthen your discernment, and remind you that genuine love always walks hand in hand with truth. As you remain close to me, I will faithfully lead you toward relationships that nourish your spirit, honor your purpose, and reflect the enduring love I've poured into your life from the very beginning. My beloved child, I have never called you to choose between kindness and wisdom. I desire both to live together within your heart. Some people believe that being gentle means allowing others to take advantage of them. Others believe that being wise requires becoming cold, distant, and suspicious. Neither reflects my heart. I am both compassionate and truthful. I am patient and discerning. I welcome the broken, yet I do not encourage deception. As you continue walking with me, I want you to learn this beautiful balance. Be gentle, yet remain wise. The world often pushes people toward extremes. After experiencing disappointment, many decide they will never trust again. They build walls so high that not only pain is kept outside, but love is as well. Others become so eager to be accepted that they ignore warning signs, silence their convictions, and give away pieces of their heart without wisdom. I have not called you to either of these paths. I am leading you along a better way, where kindness is strengthened by discernment, and wisdom is softened by love. There was once a shepherd who cared deeply for his flock. Every morning he led the sheep into green pastures, and every evening he brought them safely home. He was gentle with the young lambs, carrying them when they became tired. He patiently cared for those who had been injured. But whenever wolves came near the flock, the shepherd did not greet them with the same openness he showed the sheep. He stood firm. You recognize the difference between those who needed his compassion and those who intended harm. The shepherd was not cruel because he protected the flock. Had he refused to act wisely, his kindness alone would not have kept the sheep safe. His gentleness and his discernment worked together, and because of that, the flock flourished. My beloved child, I want that same balance to shape your life. Continue being compassionate. Continue listening with patience. Continue encouraging those who are weary. Let your words bring comfort wherever you go. But do not mistake kindness for the absence of boundaries. A loving heart can also say no when necessary. A peaceful spirit can walk away from situations that continually lead toward confusion. Wisdom does not make your love smaller. It helps your love remain healthy. As someone may come into your life, remember that you do not need to prove your goodness by ignoring your discernment. If something continually troubles your spirit, do not silence that concern simply because you want everything to work out. Bring your questions to me. Ask for understanding. Observe patiently. A gentle heart is not one that believes every promise immediately. A gentle heart is one that remains respectful while allowing truth to reveal itself over time. You may encounter people who misunderstand your boundaries. They may see you have changed. They may wonder why you no longer rush into trust as quickly as you once did. Do not let those opinions trouble you. Growth often changes the way you respond to situations. I have been teaching you lessons through every season you have walked with me. Those lessons are not meant to make you fearful. They are meant to make you wiser. At the same time, guard your heart against allowing wisdom to become pride. Never assume that because you have learned much, you no longer need my guidance. The wisest people remain teachable. They continue asking me for direction. They do not rely only upon past experiences because they know every new season brings fresh opportunities to grow. Stay humble, my beloved child. Humility keeps your heart open to my voice and protects you from becoming hardened by past disappointments. Remember how I have treated you throughout your journey. When you stumbled, I corrected you with love. When you doubted, I remained faithful. When you wandered, I called you back with compassion rather than condemnation. Let my example shape the way you treat others. Speak truth, but speak it with gentleness. Offer forgiveness, but do not abandon wisdom. Show mercy, but do not ignore justice. These qualities are not in conflict with one another. They are all reflections of my character. There will be moments when you must choose peace over winning an argument. There will be times when silence will accomplish more than many words. There will also be occasions when love requires you to speak honestly even if the truth is difficult to hear. Ask me for wisdom in every situation. I will show you when to be still, when to speak, when to wait, and when to move forward. You do not have to rely upon your own understanding because I delight in guiding those who seek me sincerely. My beloved child, let your life become a place where kindness and wisdom walk hand in hand. Let your compassion reflect my heart, and let your discernment reflect my truth. Do not become so guarded that love cannot enter, and do not become so trusting that wisdom is forgotten. As you remain close to me, I will teach you this beautiful balance day by day. Walk gently through this world, but walk with open eyes. Love generously, but trust faithfully rather than hastily. Extend grace without surrendering the peace I have placed within you. In doing so, you will reflect my character to those around you, and you will continue walking safely along the path I have lovingly prepared for your life. My beloved child, I will always give you the wisdom you need when you choose to walk beside me. My beloved child, there are desires within your heart that you have never spoken aloud to anyone. Some are so personal that you have carried them in silence, wondering if anyone could truly understand them. You have smiled while hiding your longings. You have encouraged others while quietly waiting for your own prayers to be answered. There have been moments when you questioned whether I had noticed the dreams that remain tucked away in the deepest places of your soul. Hear me now with complete confidence. I know every desire hidden within you. Before you ever formed the words of your prayer, I already understood the longing behind them. I know your desire to be loved without pretending to be someone you are not. I know your hope to find relationships built on honesty instead of performance, on faithfulness instead of convenience, and on peace instead of confusion. I know your longing to feel understood, valued, and accepted for who you truly are. These desires do not surprise me because I am the one who lovingly formed your heart. I know its design better than anyone else ever could. Yet I also know something you cannot always see. Not every desire that enters your heart arrives in its healthiest form. Sometimes pain shapes your desires. Sometimes loneliness gives them urgency. Sometimes disappointment causes you to seek quick answers instead of lasting ones. That is why I do not simply fulfill every request the moment you ask. I lovingly refine your desires so that what you receive will become a blessing rather than a burden. There was once a young woman who dreamed of planting the most beautiful orchard in her village. She eagerly gathered every seed she could find and wanted to plant them all immediately. An elderly gardener watched her with kindness and said, "Not every seed belongs in the same soil, and not every season is right for planting. If you rush because you are impatient, you may lose what could have become a beautiful harvest." Though she found it difficult to wait, she trusted the gardener's wisdom. Together, they carefully selected the healthiest seeds and planted each one in its proper season. Years later, the orchard became known throughout the land for its abundant fruit. Looking back, she realized that patience had not delayed her dream. It had protected it. My beloved child, many of the desires within your heart are like those precious seeds. I see not only the dream itself, but also the season in which it will flourish. I know when your heart is ready. I know when others are ready. I know when circumstances have been prepared. If I ask you to wait, it is never because I delight in withholding good things from you. It is because I desire the fullness of my blessing rather than a rushed version of it. As someone may come into your life, do not allow your deepest desires to silence your discernment. Wanting companionship is not wrong. Hoping for love is not weakness. Desiring meaningful connection reflects the way I created you. But never allow the beauty of those desires to become so urgent that they begin making decisions in place of wisdom. Bring every longing to me. Let me shape it. Let me purify it. Let me teach you how to hope without becoming anxious. Remember that I care about more than answering your prayers. I care about who you become while you are waiting. During seasons of expectation, I have been teaching you patience. During seasons of silence, I have been strengthening your faith. During seasons of uncertainty, I have been deepening your trust. These gifts are just as valuable as the answers themselves because they prepare you to receive my blessings with gratitude and maturity. Do not be discouraged if others seem to receive what you have been praying for before you do. Their story is not your story. I am writing each life with perfect wisdom, and comparison only distracts you from the beautiful work I am accomplishing within your own journey. Trust that I know the right timing for every chapter of your life. The same hand that created your dreams is also guiding their fulfillment. There may be moments when your heart grows weary. Waiting can sometimes make hope feel fragile. At those moments, come close to me. Speak honestly. Tell me your fears, your questions, and even your disappointments. I am not offended by your honesty. A loving father welcomes the heart of his child. I would rather you bring every emotion into my presence than carry it alone. When you do, I will remind you again that my love has never changed, and neither has my purpose for your life. My beloved child, never mistake delay for denial. Some of the greatest blessings I have prepared require time because they are being carefully woven together by my wisdom. The answer you seek may already be moving toward you in ways you cannot yet imagine. While you are wondering whether I have remembered your prayer, I am arranging details that only I can see. So continue trusting me with the desires hidden deep within your heart. Do not bury them in hopelessness, and do not force them into existence through fear. Place them gently into my hands. I know exactly what your soul needs, and I know how to satisfy it in ways far beyond your expectations. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. The dreams I have planted within you were never forgotten. I have been watching over them from the very beginning, and in my perfect time, I will bring forth the beautiful harvest I have lovingly prepared for your life. My beloved child, I know that waiting is not easy for you. There are moments when each passing day feels longer than the one before it. You wonder why the answer has not yet arrived, why the door has not yet opened, or why the person you have been praying for has not yet appeared. Sometimes you quietly ask me, Father, how much longer? I have heard every one of those questions, and I have never grown weary of listening to them. Today I want you to know this truth. Every delay carries hidden purpose when your life is placed in my hands. The world often treats waiting as though it is wasted time. It teaches you that if something has not happened quickly, it may never happen at all. It urges you to take control, to force outcomes, or to settle for less simply because you are tired of waiting. But my beloved child, my timing has never been ruled by the impatience of the world. I am not delayed by circumstances, nor am I hurried by fear. I move according to perfect wisdom, and every moment of your life unfolds within my loving care. Think about the sunrise. Before its light reaches your window, much has already taken place beyond your sight. The earth has continued its steady movement throughout the night. Dawn does not arrive because someone demands it. It arrives at the appointed time, No amount of worry can make it come sooner, and no amount of fear can prevent it from appearing. In the same way, many of my promises are already moving toward you even while your eyes still see darkness. There was once a potter who selected a piece of clay to create a beautiful vessel. The clay was eager to become something useful and admired. As soon as the potter placed it upon the wheel, the clay expected the work to be finished quickly. Instead, the potter shaped it slowly. He pressed gently, added water, reshaped it, and sometimes paused before continuing. When the vessel was finally formed, it still had to pass through the fire before it could fulfill its purpose. If the clay could have spoken, it might have believed the process was taking too long. Yet the potter understood that rushing would only weaken the vessel. Every stage had a purpose. Every pause prepared it for greater strength. Every moment of waiting ensured that it would endure for many years instead of breaking under the slightest pressure. My beloved child, I am the potter, and you are in my loving hands. I know exactly what I am forming within you. The waiting you experience is not empty. During these seasons I am strengthening your patience, refining your character, and deepening your dependence upon me. I am teaching you to recognize my voice more clearly than the voices of fear or impatience. These are treasures that cannot be gained through hurried living. As someone may come into your life, remember that delays are often acts of protection. Perhaps I am still preparing their heart. Perhaps I am completing a work within yours. Perhaps there are lessons each of you must learn separately before your paths are meant to join. If I were to bring two lives together before the proper season, unnecessary pain could replace the joy I intend for you both. My delays are not signs that I have forgotten you. They are evidence that I care too deeply to give you something before it is ready. There will be times when you compare your journey with others. You may wonder why their prayers seem to have been answered while yours remain unfinished. Resist that temptation, my beloved child. Comparison clouds gratitude and weakens trust. You do not know the entire story of another person's life, just as they do not know the full story I am writing in yours. Keep your eyes upon me rather than upon the pace of others. Your journey has been designed with loving precision. While you wait, do not stop living. Continue serving with joy. Continue showing kindness. Continue growing in wisdom. Continue seeking me each day. Waiting is not a season of standing still. It is a season of becoming. It is where your faith grows stronger than your feelings, where hope learns to endure, and where trust becomes rooted so deeply that changing circumstances can no longer shake it. One day you will look back upon this season with different eyes. You will see connections you cannot see today. You will recognize how one closed door protected you from another. You will understand why certain prayers were answered later than you expected. You will discover that what once felt like delay was actually careful preparation woven together by my faithful hands. So do not allow impatience to steal the peace I have placed within you. Rest in the confidence that I am never late. I have not misplaced your prayers, forgotten your tears, or overlooked the desires of your heart. Every promise I have spoken remains secure. Every step I have asked you to take is leading you toward the future I have lovingly prepared. My beloved child, trust the seasons I have chosen for your life. Even when you cannot see my purpose, believe that it is there. Every delay carries hidden purpose. Every waiting season carries hidden growth. And every moment spent trusting me is shaping you for blessings greater than you can presently imagine. Remain close to me, and in the fullness of my perfect time, you will discover that not one moment of waiting was ever wasted. My beloved child, there will be moments in your journey when you will wish I had shown you the entire path from the beginning. You will long to know how every unanswered question will be resolved, how every waiting season will end, and how every prayer will unfold. But if I revealed every detail before you took the first step, there would be little room left for trust to grow. Faith is not built by seeing everything in advance. It is strengthened by walking with me when only the next step is visible. I know how difficult uncertainty can feel. Your heart naturally seeks security. You want to know that the road ahead is safe, that your efforts are not in vain, and that the people who enter your life will remain faithful. These are honest desires, and I do not condemn you for having them. But I gently remind you that your greatest security has never been found in knowing every detail of the future. It has always been found in knowing the one who holds your future. There was once a traveler who needed to cross a great mountain before reaching his home. As he stood at the base of the mountain, a thick fog covered the trail. He became discouraged because he could only see a few steps ahead. He sat down and considered turning back, believing it was impossible to continue without seeing the entire path. An elderly guide approached him carrying a small lantern. The traveler looked at the lantern and said, "This light is too small. It cannot show me the whole mountain." The guide smiled and replied, "No, but it will faithfully show you the next step. When you take that step, it will reveal another. Continue walking, and you will discover that the light is always enough for the place where your feet are." The traveler chose to trust the guide. Step by step, the lantern illuminated the path before him. The fog remained for much of the journey, but it never prevented him from reaching home because the light was always sufficient for the next faithful step. My beloved child, I am that faithful guide, and my truth is the light you carry. I may not always reveal the entire mountain, but I will never leave you without direction. Every day I provide enough grace for that day's journey. I give you today's strength, today's wisdom, and today's peace. Tomorrow's grace will meet you when tomorrow arrives. As someone may come into your life, do not become anxious because you cannot immediately see where the relationship will lead. It is not your responsibility to know the ending before the beginning have been faithfully lived. Walk with wisdom. Pray with sincerity. Observe with patience. Allow truth to unfold naturally instead of demanding instant certainty. What is built slowly upon honesty and my guidance becomes far stronger than what is rushed through fear or excitement. There will be seasons when you feel as though progress is invisible. You may wonder whether your prayers are accomplishing anything or whether your obedience is making any difference. Do not allow appearances to discourage you. Roots grow unseen before branches reach toward the sky. Rivers often flow quietly beneath the earth before they emerge with refreshing strength. Much of my greatest work happens where human eyes cannot yet see it. Remember the many times I have already carried you through uncertainty. There were days you thought you would never overcome, yet here you stand. There were valleys that seemed endless, yet I brought you through them. There were nights when you believed morning would never come, yet the sun rose once again. The same faithfulness that sustained you then continues to sustain you now. I have not changed. Do not let fear persuade you to stop simply because you cannot see far ahead. Fear often demands guarantees before it is willing to move. Faith responds differently. Faith says, "My Father has led me this far, and He will not abandon me now." That confidence is not built upon circumstances. It is built upon my unchanging character. When you grow weary, come to me. Do not carry your burdens alone. Speak honestly about your doubts, your questions, and your hopes. I already know them, but there is healing that comes when you place them into my hands. I will renew your strength, calm your anxious thoughts, and remind you that no faithful step is ever wasted. Even the smallest act of obedience becomes part of the beautiful future I am preparing for you. My beloved child, keep walking. Do not measure your progress only by what you can see, Measure it by your growing trust in me. Every prayer whispered in faith, every act of kindness, every decision made with wisdom, and every moment you choose peace over panic moves you closer to the purpose I have designed for your life. One day the fog will lift, and you will look back upon this journey with gratitude. You will see how my hand guided you around dangers you never noticed, toward blessings you could never have arranged, and into relationships that reflected my goodness. Until that day arrives, do not be discouraged by what remains hidden. Walk faithfully with the light I have already given you. My beloved child, I am with you in every step you take. I walk before you, beside you, and behind you. You never journey alone. Keep walking, even when you cannot see ahead, because the one who guides your steps has already prepared the path that leads you safely into the promises I have lovingly reserved for your life. My beloved child, there are times when you become afraid that what is meant for you will somehow pass you by. You wonder whether you have missed an opportunity, made too many mistakes, or waited too long. You look at the lives of others and quietly ask yourself if the blessings you have prayed for have been given to someone else instead. But I want you to rest in this truth today. What I have truly prepared for you cannot be stolen by another person, delayed by human opinions, or destroyed by circumstances beyond your control. I am guarding what belongs to you. You often carry burdens that I never asked you to carry. You worry about losing what has not even arrived yet. You fear that one wrong decision will erase the future I have lovingly planned for you. While your choices do matter, never believe that my purpose for your life is so fragile that it can be overturned by every unexpected event. I am greater than your mistakes. I am wiser than every obstacle. I am able to guide you even when the road has taken turns you never expected. Think of a shepherd who owns a beautiful pasture prepared for his flock. Before leading the sheep there, he walks the land himself. He repairs broken fences, removes hidden dangers, clears harmful plants, and ensures there is fresh water waiting. By the time the sheep arrive, much of the work has already been completed. The flock may not understand everything the shepherd has done, but they enjoy the safety and provision that came because of his faithful care. My beloved child, I have gone before you in much the same way. There are blessings waiting that you have not yet seen because I have been preparing them with loving attention. There are opportunities I have protected from being destroyed before their appointed time. There are relationships I have been preserving until both hearts are ready to receive one another with wisdom and maturity. You do not see all that I have been doing, but my unseen work is one of the greatest expressions of my love. As someone may come into your life, remember that you do not need to compete for what I have already assigned to your future. Love that comes from my hand does not require manipulation. Purpose does not require dishonesty. Blessings secured by my faithfulness do not depend upon fear. If something truly belongs in your life according to my will, I know how to bring it to you at the right moment. This does not mean you should become passive or careless. Continue walking faithfully. Continue praying. Continue growing in wisdom. Continue guarding your heart while remaining open to my guidance. Trust is not the same as an activity. Trust means moving forward with confidence while leaving the results in my hands. You are responsible for obedience. I am responsible for fulfillment. There was once a young heir whose father promised him a beautiful estate when the proper time arrived. While the son was still growing, he often worried that someone else might claim it first. He imagined strangers taking possession of the land, destroying the house, or stealing the inheritance that had been promised to him. One day his father took him to the entrance of the estate. Standing there were faithful guardians who had been appointed to protect every part of it. The father smiled and said, "You have spent many days fearing what has never been in danger. While you were learning and growing, I was already watching over everything that belongs to you. The son finally understood that his inheritance had never depended upon his constant worrying. It had been secured by his father's faithful care all along. My beloved child, let that truth settle deeply within your heart. I am your faithful father. I do not make promises only to forget them. I do not begin good work only to abandon it halfway. If I have spoken hope into your heart, I will continue guarding that hope until the proper season arrives. If I have planted a purpose within you, I will protect it through every storm. If I have prepared relationships that will strengthen your life, I know exactly how to bring them into your journey. Do not allow envy to steal your joy by comparing your life with someone else's. Your blessings do not diminish yours. My resources are not limited. My love is not divided. I know how to care for each of my children with perfect wisdom. Celebrate the goodness I pour into the lives of others while trusting that I have not forgotten your story. When fear whispers that you have already missed your chance, answer it with my promises. When anxiety tells you that everything depends upon your own strength, remember that my power has always been greater than your weakness. When doubt tries to convince you that your future is uncertain, look back at all the ways I have already sustained you. The same faithful hands that carried you through yesterday are holding tomorrow as well. My beloved child, release your grip upon fear and place your confidence in my care. I am guarding what belongs to you. No delay can erase my purpose. No disappointment can cancel my promises. No human action can remove what I have lovingly prepared according to my perfect will. Continue walking with me in faith, humility, and peace. The future I have written for your life remains secure in my hands, and those hands have never failed, never weakened, and never let go of the one I love. My beloved child, there will come a day when you will look back upon this season with eyes that see far more clearly than they do today. The questions that once filled your heart will begin to find their answers. The delays that once seemed confusing will reveal their purpose. The closed doors that once caused disappointment will become reminders of my protection. On that day, you will understand why I asked you to wait. Right now, you see only a portion of the story. You stand inside the chapter you are living, and because you are living it, you cannot yet read its ending. But I am the author of your life. I hold every page in my hands. I know how each chapter connects to the next, and I know how every season, even the difficult ones, serves a greater purpose than you can presently imagine. There were moments when you thought I had forgotten your prayers. You watched opportunities disappear and wondered whether you had somehow failed. You questioned why certain people entered your life only to leave again. You wondered why relationships that seemed promising never became what you hoped they would be. I heard every question, my beloved child. Not one of them escaped my attention. Even when I appeared silent, I was carefully arranging circumstances that would one day cause you to thank me for what I did not allow. There was once a young man who dreamed of crossing a wide river to reach a beautiful valley on the other side. Each day he waited beside the shore, hoping the old wooden bridge would reopen after it had been damaged by a powerful storm. He became frustrated because the delay seemed unnecessary. He believed that if only the bridge were repaired more quickly, he could finally begin the life he had imagined. An experienced builder came to him and said, "The bridge is not being delayed because no one cares. It is being strengthened because many hidden beams were damaged beneath the surface. If you crossed it now, it would not carry you safely." The young man struggled to understand. But after the repairs were completed, another storm swept through the region. Many temporary crossings were washed away, yet the restored bridge remained strong. As he crossed it safely, he realized that the delay had never been his enemy. It had been His protection. My beloved child, there are bridges in your own life that I have been strengthening while you have been waiting. There are areas within your heart I have been healing. There are people I have been preparing. There are circumstances I have been aligning with perfect wisdom. If I had allowed everything to happen according to your earliest expectations, some blessings would not have endured the storms that later came. I was not withholding joy from you. I was preparing joy that could last. As someone may come into your life, remember everything I have taught you throughout this journey. Do not judge by appearances alone. Let peace guide your heart. Choose wisdom over haste. Protect the identity you have found in me. Do not allow loneliness or fear to become your counselor. Trust my timing even when it stretches beyond your understanding. These lessons were never separate from your future. They have been preparing you to receive it. One day you will recognize how every lesson fit together. You will see how forgiveness freed your heart to love again. You will understand how patience protected you from unnecessary sorrow. You will remember the quiet moments when I spoke to your spirit, and you will realize those whispers kept you from roads that would have led away from my best. Nothing I have taught you has been wasted. Every word has become another stone in the strong foundation I have been building beneath your life. Do not become discouraged if you still have unanswered questions today. Understanding often follows obedience. Clarity often comes after faithfulness. Continue walking the path I have placed before you, even if you cannot yet see its destination. Every step taken with trust brings you closer to the moment when my purposes will become visible. There will be a day when gratitude replaces confusion. You will remember the prayers you thought I had delayed, and you will thank me for my wisdom. You will remember the relationships that did not last, and you will understand why they could not accompany you into the future I had prepared. You will remember the tears you cried during lonely nights, and you will discover that I was using those very moments to deepen your faith and draw you closer to my heart. My beloved child, hold tightly to hope. Do not surrender it because the journey has taken longer than you expected. My promises have not changed. My love has not weakened. My plans for you remain secure. Soon you will understand why I asked you to wait. Soon you will see that my timing was never meant to frustrate you but to bless you. And when that day arrives, your heart will be filled not with regret for the waiting, but with gratitude for the faithfulness that carried you through it. You will know beyond every doubt that I was guiding you with perfect love from the very beginning, and that every step, every pause, and every season brought you exactly where my heart desired you to be. My beloved child, as we come to the end of this journey together, I want these final words to settle deeply into your heart. Do not allow them to become only something you heard for a moment. Let them become a truth you carry into every new day. You began this journey wondering about someone who may come into your life. Along the way, I have shown you that the greater message was never simply about another person. It has always been about your heart, your faith, your discernment, and your relationship with me. Remember everything I have gently taught you. Not every smile reveals every heart, but I see what is hidden. Not every open door is meant for you, but I know which ones lead to peace. Not every delay is a disappointment, because I have been preparing blessings beyond what you could imagine. I have been protecting you in ways you never noticed, strengthening you in seasons you thought were empty, and guiding you through quiet whispers when the world was filled with noise. If someone enters your life after today, welcome them with kindness, but keep your heart anchored in my wisdom. Do not be ruled by loneliness, fear, excitement, or pressure. Let my peace remain your compass. Let my truth remain your foundation. Let patience remain your strength. Those who truly belong in your life will never require you to walk away from my presence in order to walk beside them. Never forget who you are. You are my beloved child. Your worth has never depended upon human approval, changing circumstances, or the opinions of others. Your value was established by my love long before this world ever spoke your name. Walk with quiet confidence because I am the one who formed you, called you, and continues to guide your every step. There will still be days when questions arise. There will be moments when the future seems hidden once again. When those days come, return to everything I have spoken to your heart. Come into my presence. Open my word. Be still before me. Listen for my voice. I have never abandoned you, and I never will. Even when you cannot see my hand, you can trust my heart. Do not fear tomorrow. I am already there. Do not fear closed doors. I know what they are protecting you from. Do not fear waiting. I know what I am preparing. Do not fear new beginnings. I will walk into them with you. The same love that carried you through yesterday will carry you through every tomorrow that is still unfolding. Lift your eyes with hope instead of anxiety. Walk with wisdom instead of haste. Love with courage instead of fear. Forgive without carrying bitterness. Protect your peace without hardening your heart. Trust my timing without comparing your journey to anyone else's. Every lesson I have placed within you has been preparing you for a future filled with my goodness. And whenever you wonder whether you are walking alone, remember this promise. My presence does not leave when the message ends. I remain with you in the quiet morning, in the busy afternoon, and in the silent night. I remain with you in seasons of joy and in seasons of waiting. I remain with you when answers come quickly and when they unfold slowly. I will never stop being your faithful Father, your constant guide, and your everlasting refuge. Now, my beloved child, continue your journey with peace in your heart and hope in your spirit. Walk forward without fear, because I have gone before you. Walk forward without doubt, because my promises remain true. Walk forward without losing heart, because every step taken with me leads you closer to the beautiful purpose I have lovingly prepared since before you were born. Rest in my love, trust in my wisdom, and rejoice in my faithfulness, for I am with you always. Before you go, I place one more invitation upon your heart. Every word you have heard in this journey is like a lamp that can continue shining into the lives of countless others who are waiting in darkness for hope. My word declares, give, and it will be given to you, and I speak that living promise over every generous heart. I say to you now, my beloved child, join me in carrying this light farther than you could ever go alone. If this message has strengthened your faith, honor that work through Super Thanks by becoming a channel member or through the PayPal donation link in the video description and the QR code shown in this video. Every gift becomes a seed that helps reach another weary soul with my comfort, my peace, and my truth. I see every act of generosity that is offered with love, and I bless those who sow faithfully into my work. Let your giving become a river that carries hope where despair has settled and light where hearts have grown weary. Do not wait for another moment to answer this invitation, because someone is praying today for the very message your support will help them receive tomorrow. Rise in faith, sow with joy, and become part of the harvest I am bringing forth across the earth. And as you obey with a willing heart, I will surround you with my peace, strengthen your steps, and pour out blessings in ways you never expected. Amen.